In this book, one sees, from the complex narrative of many strands in various texts, how Middle-earth moved towards the end of the First Age, and how my father's perception of this history that he had conceived unfolded through long years until, at last, what was to be its finest form, it foundered. I have arranged the content of this book in a manner distinct from that in past books. The text of the tale appears first, in succession with little or no commentary. An account of the evolution of the story then follows, with a discussion of my father's profoundly saddening abandonment of the last version of the tale at the moment when Tuor passed through the last gate of Gondolin. Hey there, y'all. I'm Danny J.
And I'm Joel N.
I'm Trevor D.
And together we are...
Keep on Tolkien.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome back for episode 116.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm sure you've listened to all past 115.
Yeah, if you didn't, that's your homework for next week.
Ready, go. Start now.
Well, today's very special, everyone, because today is our last installment in our series on the great tales of the Elder Days. So for this series, we've been talking about Beren and Luthien, the children of Húrin, and the fall of Gondolin.
Right. Yeah, and these three great tales are collectively known as the Atanatarian, if you've been paying attention.
But today is part 5 of our coverage of the fall of Gondolin, and it is our last episode on the fall of Gondolin.
Yeah, it is our... We will drop the mic after this episode. This is all we have to say about Gondolin.
Yeah, it's a super special tale because it's possibly... Well, it is the earliest Middle-earth tale that Tolkien ever wrote.
Which lends to the most evolution, right, or the most time to evolve. So it stands to reason it's going to be, a fun evolution, right?
Yeah, and it's evolved a lot over time. And, I thought that the opening excerpt is a selection from the Fall of Gondolin book, the preface of the book, where Christopher talks about how he kind of set up this new Fall of Gondolin book, where he...
The format.
Yeah. I kind of took that same format for this episode.
Which is why you used the excerpt, which is a good way to start it off. Good job.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of walk through the history of the tale, starting with the earliest to the latest. But in the last 4 episodes of this series, we had been talking about, first, the canon version of the Fall of Gondolin, and then we also talked about the earliest complete version of the story.
Right.
So now we'll be talking about the development over time.
Yes. And we did this with both Beren and Luthien and Children of Húrin. It's just kind of it's like a subgenre type episode that we do,
Yeah, a little bit meta. Show you the development of the story over time.
I like that. It's a meta episode. Yeah, I dig that.
And we also just want to give one final shout out, again, to the iconic father and son duo Timothy and Samuel West.
Right,
who narrated the audiobooks for both Beren and Luthien and the Fall of Gondolin.
Yes. And R.I.P. to Timothy West. He passed away in November of 2024. That really sucks. But yes, speaking of Fall of Gondolin book, let's get into that a little bit.
So the Fall of Gondolin, the book, it was the primary source for these Fall of Gondolin episodes.
Right.
It discusses the different versions of the tale as found in 7 different source materials.
Yes, no less than 7 sources.
Yeah, and Christopher didn't exactly keep his thoughts super organized throughout this book. So just identifying all of the different source materials that he references throughout the book was a kind of a feat on its own, but we got him. So throughout the book, he references 7 different source materials, the first being what he calls the earliest text. This was written in 1916, possibly early 1917, and it only has just a few lines.
Yeah, and then the second source material we have here is the original tale, what he calls, and it is 1917, and this is complete. And there's 2 different complete versions, correct, Joel? Is that what there's the Tale of the Fall of Gondolin.
It just has a very long name.
Oh, it just has a very long name. Okay. So we have the Tale of the Fall of Gondolin, and then we also have we have Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth in the great tale of Eärendil. Yes, that's all.
Yeah, so the
One.
original tale, as Christopher refers to it, comes by a few different names. Sometimes it's just called the Tale of the Fall
Jesus
of Gondolin.
Lord.
Sometimes it's just called the Tale. Sometimes it's called the Original Tale.
Cool.
Or there's Tolkien's OG title, the super, super long one.
Yeah, Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth in the great tale of Earendil. That one?
Or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Yeah, so that's one that's easy to remember. It's the original one. It's its own lone manuscript. It's complete, and it has like 2 or 3 different long titles. Most commonly referred to as the Tale or the Original Tale.
Nice. This one's kind of funny. What's the third one, Trev?
The third one is Turlin and the Exiles of Gondolin, which
Right.
was early 1920s. It's an incomplete version. Clearly, it's an abandoned start of a new version of the tale.
With Turlin.
With Turlin.
And then we have coming up next, The Lay of the Fall of Gondolin. This is from the early 1920s. This is also incomplete. The 1920s was really when Tolkien was going hard at those lays.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of them have a version
He
from
was just,
the early 20s.
I think he was just trying his hand at the format in general,
Yeah.
like seeing what kind of lays he could write.
Yeah.
He started all sorts of stuff.
It's so funny that like he had we all have phases as artists, but like it's just funny seeing his. It's funny.
His lay phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the 5th source material that Christopher references in this book is called The Sketch of the Mythology. That'll probably ring some bells for a lot of people.
Yeah, we've heard of this in the
Commonly referenced.
Yeah.
So this was written in 1926. Christopher considers it an incomplete telling of the story just because of how short the Sketch of the Mythology
Right.
is.
It's more of a synopsis than anything.
It is, yeah. It's a 28-page synopsis. Is just written to one of Tolkien's friends explaining some background for the story of Turin Turambar. So
That's right. It was setting up a different story. I forgot. That's super funny. It's like, here's a sketch of the entire first age to set up one story within it. There you go.
That's kind of what it felt like with the really long title where it literally says, which bringeth in the great tale of Earendil.
Yeah.
Our 6th source material that we've got here is, of course, the Quentin Oldorenwa from 1930, which is complete, of course.
yeah, that should ring a lot of bells for a lot of people because it
Yes.
was the main source material, one of the main source materials for what would become the Silmarillion as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible of Tolkien.
Yes.
The Bible of Middle-earth.
The TB, the Tolkien Bible.
Not tuberculosis.
Not tuberculosis.
Wrong TB.
And then we, of course, have the final version from 1951, which is incomplete. And that includes of Tuor and his coming to Gondolin, which we referenced the crap out of in what episode was that? 2?
The episodes part
1 and 2, right?
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So go back and if you didn't hear those, you might want to go check those out.
Yeah, the final version is really cool. 1951. This is when Tolkien got into his sort of last phase of Middle-earth writing, like just after he had written The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff, but he was having issues getting The Lord of the Rings published or The Silmarillion published. He went back at some of the old stuff and started trying his hand at it. And he wrote like half of the story of the Fall of Gondolin, but in his, more developed writing style, and then he never finished it. It's incomplete.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like he gave the Lord of the Rings he started to give the Lord of the Rings treatment to his first stage stuff.
Which was so beautiful.
If you know what I mean by that, it's the difference in the narrative style between, say, the Silmarillion and the Lord of the Rings, right? Wildly different narrative styles. One's more warm and complete and descriptive, and then the other one is more fleeting.
Yeah, if you want more details on that, go back a couple episodes to episodes 112 and 112 and 113, where we talk all about the final version in detail.
I'd say we kind of gush about the final
We
version,
gush about
honestly.
it. It's beautiful.
We're fans.
All right, but today we're talking about the development. So let's start by talking about each of these 7 different source materials and kind of what it adds to the story, what it establishes as this story develops over time.
It's kind of like a ball of rolling snow.
Exactly,
It
is.
It's picking up bullshit, it's dropping bullshit, and at the end of the hill, you have the final product. This is some of the shit it picked up along the way. Old tires and shit like that,
So let's start off with the very earliest text. And just to reiterate, this is pre the original tale. This is the earliest text regarding the fall of Gondolin, and it's only a few lines, written sometime between 1916 and then early 1917. And we kind of think that Christopher explained it best in the Fall of Gondolin book. There's not a whole lot to tell about it, so we're just going to quote Christopher real quick.
Why the fuck not? We got Trev doing that. And this is from Fall of Gondolin Chapter 2, the earliest text.
Important elements in the early evolution of the history of the Elder Days are my father's hurried notes. As I have described them elsewhere, these notes were for the most part penciled at furious speeds, the writing now rubbed and faint, and in places, after long study, scarcely decipherable, on slips of paper, disordered and dateless, or in a little notebook. In these, during the years in which he was composing the Lost Tales, he jotted down thoughts and suggestions, many of them being no more than simple sentences or mere isolated names, serving as reminders of work to be done, stories to be told, or changes to be made. Among these notes is found what must be the earliest trace of the story of the Fall of Gondolin. Quote, Isfin, daughter of Fengalma, loved from afar by Eol of the Molkin of the Gnomes. He is strong, and in favor with Fengalma, and with the sons of Feanor, because he is a leader of the miners, and searches after hidden jewels. But he is ill-favored, and Isfin loathes him. End quote. I think it most probable that the brief note given above was written before the tale of the Fall of Gondolin, and before the advent of Maeglin, and that the story in its origin had no association with Gondolin.
Right. So Isfin and Fengalma, everybody knows them, right? That's who is referenced in this earliest. Just a little line here.
Yeah, it really is just a few sentences.
Yeah, references Eol of the Molekin as well, of the
Yeah,
gnomes.
we got that. Mm-hmm. And,
And
Sons of
it's
Feanor,
just-
it's got them in there too, right?
Yeah, just 2 complete sentences there. So that's the earliest text of what would become the Fall of Gondolin.
Funny, knowing Tolkien, you think he'd try to mash these 2 sentences together,
Even more?
Right.
I'll find a grammatically correct way to mash these sentences together if it's the last thing I ever do.
So let's jump to the next source material here, and one of the biggest, the original tale, a.k.a. the tale of the Fall of Gondolin, a.k.a. Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth in the great tale of Earendil.
You got it.
And breathe. So this is the earliest surviving transcript of the Fall of Gondolin. It's 75 pages long. It was originally written in 1916 to 1917 on 2 school exercise books. Christopher Tolkien refers to this version as Tuor A. And the original title was Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth in the great tale of Earendil, like we had just stated,
The long
as known
one.
as. The long one, yeah. And this one was extremely difficult to read. And that was largely due to the fact that J.R.R. Tolkien had made many changes, writing over top of the original text. So there's even some lost material in his lost material, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a jumbled up
Yeah.
mess of corrections and overwritings. And
Yeah, around 1917, Edith Tolkien, a wonderful woman, wrote down a definitive and clean, legible copy of the tale. And this is what Christopher refers to as Tuor B.
what an angel she is.
Yeah.
To take this and be like, now, honey, let's clean this
Can
up.
you imagine? Yeah.
And let's just get a definitive version down. Made a few, updates. Yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend won't touch my writing. That would be. She would. Yeah, I don't blame her either. Fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah, Tolkien himself made many updates to this Tuor B version between 1917 and 1920, and this revised Tuor B version is the earliest form of the tale to be published in completion. And this is the version that you'll find in the Book of Lost Tales Part 2. It's also the version that Christopher starts with in the Fall of Gondolin book. And in the Fall of Gondolin book, Christopher calls this the original tale. So let's dive into what the original tale establishes.
Yeah. What are the little bits and bobs that we pick up here?
Well, the first thing, the hidden city of Gondolin, of course. The character of Tuor, son of Peleg, and his origins from Dorloman, which are important things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tuor, he's brought to the gate of the Noldor by an unknown number of unnamed Noldorly elves instead of just
Baranwe.
Baranwe. Yeah. Tuor's journey through the gate of the Noldor, down the Rainbow Cleft, and then across the country to the sea. All that is brought in.
It also adds his discovery of the gulls, the birds of Osse.
Mine.
Mine.
It also establishes that Tuor is the first of the race of men to reach the sea,
Mm-hmm.
And then it also establishes Tuor's journey following those three swans south to the land of willows, where he lingers a while due to how beautiful it is there.
It's pretty crazy that it was this early that he's the first man to reach the sea. That's interesting. Crazy. Tuor's conversation with Ulmo is also brought in here, and this includes Tuor being told that his destiny to find the hidden city of the Gondolithrim. I always fuck that up. Did I say it right?
Gondolin.
Find the city of the Gondolin and deliver a message to them.
Yeah, it doesn't tell him what the message is.
No.
But it's like, you're going to be my telephone.
It's a need-to-know basis. Yeah.
It also establishes Tuor's guide being a Noldali elf named Voronoi, and Voronoi finds the hidden entrance in a deep dale in the hills, and in this version, the entrance is a hidden tunnel on the banks of the River Syrian. Later on down the line, it gets a little more intricate.
Well, and if I'm right in this version, because we had just mentioned Voronoi in one of our previous points, all of the other elves fucked off, right?
Yep.
Those unnamed ones. Voronoi is the only one to stay.
Yeah, he was the only one to stay of those unnamed elves.
This also establishes when they emerge on the other side, they're surrounded by guards and escorted to Gondolin.
Right.
Even that Ulmo speaks through Tuor and gives a warning to King Turgon that is now the time to go to war and to fight Melko's goblins before they inhabit all the mountains of the world. And, of course, Turgon refuses to do so.
So all that, guys, all that is brought in by this. Tuor is also invited to live in Gondolin, right? We established that. And his marriage to the king's daughter Idril and their son Eärendil is also established. And Idril's cousin Maglin, what do you call it, lusting after her and feeling blue about it. That's all added by this tale.
Oh, it's also establishing that Idril has a secret tunnel exit made under their house because she gets a foreboding feeling about the coming fall. That also establishes when Maglin gets captured by orcs and brought to Melko for questioning, and they devise the plan together to overtake Gondolin, including an exchange for the possession of Idril.
Gross.
It adds in that the night before the first day of summer, Melko assaults Gondolin with orcs, balrogs, fire drakes, and the iron dragons, which are all pretty unique to this battle, I'd say, especially in the numbers anyway.
Yes.
The 12 houses of Gondolin and their rally and tried their attempts to defend the city, but all are defeated and the king is killed.
It's pretty crazy that all this is. Well, like we talk about this tale is unique in that it was start off with a bunch of stuff and then it was shaved away as it became canon. Weirdly enough, but yeah, the 12 houses we hear in this tale, but not in later tales. Weird. Maglin also, right? He tries to kidnap Israel and kill Eärendil.
Tries to kidnap Idril.
Oh, sorry.
Rather than the country of Israel.
Did I say Israel? Yeah, I got it on the brain lately.
I can understand.
Yeah. Fuck me, I guess. But he tries to kidnap Idril and to kill Eärendil, a child, but Tuor stops him by slaying him, of course.
Throws him over the edge.
Yeah.
This is where it establishes his body hitting the wall 3 times as he falls to his death.
That's important, apparently.
It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Love that detail. Tuor also, it establishes when he takes his soldiers to the gate to aid in the fight because it was the most intense there. It establishes that the fight there goes poorly and the Balrogs shoot flaming darts all over the city and starts fires and creates a dire situation, which inspires the House of the Hammer of Wrath to do a crazy counterattack where they kill a bunch of orcs and Balrogs, but they all die in the process.
And then after that, Ecthelion and the House of the Fountain come to reinforce, but they're all pushed back when the Great Dragons arrive. And then they retreat to the Square of the King, where they receive some reinforcements from the House of the Arch and the Swallow. But they're attacked by 7 dragons and many Balrogs, and Ecthelion dies, drowning Gothmog in the King's Fountain.
God, this version establishes so much.
Yeah, it really does. I'm surprised. I'm honestly kind of blown away by all the things it establishes.
Well, it's pretty easy to see. Well, at least in the beginning of what we've been talking about, the stuff that transfers between stories, and we're getting towards this bottom half of it, and it's here's all the stuff that really is unique to this version of the tale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is your Campbell's Condensed right here.
Yeah.
Add your own milk.
Well, at this point, it also establishes that the king's troops come to reinforce the efforts, and they force multiple dragons into the fountain, which causes all the fountains in the city to boil over, covering the city in a steam and a vapor that kills a bunch of people, and then the king locks himself in his tower in basically grief to go down with the ship.
Yes.
It's kind of their own doing in a way, too, because of the pushing those dragons into the water. It really sucks.
Yeah, it is. That was really an unfortunate outcome.
Yes, also in this version, Tuor and Idril, they direct all the remaining women and children to follow them and flee through their secret tunnel way, right? And when they exit the tunnel, the group split into two. Some follow Tuor and Idril and survive, and the others go off the traditional way of escape, which is, where you'd normally do that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, that didn't go well, and they all die.
And that would have been towards the original gate, right?
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To leave via the secret path.
To leave via the secret escape tunnel, yeah. But Maglin actually had Melko put a dragon there, so they covered the exit.
Yeah, smart of them.
So Tuor and Idril's group, they escape through the mountains using the pass of Cristhorn. However, they're attacked by orcs and a Balrog, and Glorfindel dies, killing the Balrog.
Mm-hmm. That's in this version.
So this is where this version gives you Glorfindel's death.
Yeah, in pretty good detail, too.
Oh, yeah.
They leave the mountains and they follow the river Syrian all the way south to the land of willows, right? We've been there before, but this is when the refugees get there. And they stay there a while and they heal up and recharge.
Take a long rest. Get all
Yeah,
your
take a
spell
long
slots
rest.
back.
Get your spell slots back there. And then they move on to a more permanent residency at the mouths of the Syrian on the shores of the sea under the watch of what's his name? Círdan the shipwright.
Círdan the motherfucking shipwright.
That's right.
Yeah, so this story really establishes a lot of core pieces of the story.
Yeah, this really establishes just about everything.
Yeah.
Truly.
Everything save the seven gates and a few other minor changes and things.
Yeah.
Vinyamar isn't in here, but we'll get there. So let's jump to the next version of the tale and see what it changes and adds.
This one's fun.
Turlin and the Exiles of Gondolin, a.k.a. the Turlin version.
Yeah, this is about 6 pages long and it was written in the early 1920s after the original tale. It's short and incomplete, and it was clearly the abandoned start of a new version of the tale of the Fall of Gondolin. Some of the things that change here in Turlin and the Exiles of Gondolin is obviously the hero's name. Turlin. Tolkien in this version had actually experimented with a couple different name changes. At one point, he was even thinking about calling the hero Turgon.
Oh.
I'm pretty happy that he decided to not go with Turlin.
Yeah, and Tuor was also considered. Christopher goes with Tuor, but we decided if it's called Turlin in the Exiles of Gondolin, let's just stick with the use of the name Turlin just to make things clear.
Right.
So we're going to use Turlin.
We're going to Turlin it up here. The version, this version of the tale focuses more on the connection between the fall of Gondolin and all the hardships of those days and the kinslaying at the fall at Alcolande. You remember that way back?
Yeah, the very first kinslaying.
Yeah.
Basically the first terrible thing that happens after the Oath of Fëanor, right?
Yeah, it's the first real fucking bad thing that happens as a result of that.
One of 3 kinslayings.
Yeah, and it's basically just talking about how the fall of Gondolin is more or less a consequence long-term of the kinslaying, as well as all the other hardships of those days being a consequence of the kinslaying.
We're finally reaping what we've sown.
Exactly.
Type shit. Okay, that makes sense.
So in this version, more info is given about Turlin's background and his people. So, before in the original tale, he was just a man from Dor Lomin who lived alone. But in this version, Turlin is a chief of men.
A little more important.
Yeah, he and his people, they had come from the Far East to aid in the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. But, of course, they were too late, so they just settled in Dor Lomin, a.k.a. Hisalome.
Yeah, something important to note in this version also, Hisalome and Dor Lomin are different names for the same place, rather than one being a region within the other, which it eventually becomes.
Gotcha.
Ooh, that is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you hear them switch between Dor Lomin and Hisalome momentarily while we're talking about the Turlin version, that's why, because they're the same place.
Gotcha. In this version, Turlin also had a preference to spend time in solitude. He's kind of a loner. So he spent a lot of time singing and making music along the shores of Lake Mithrim.
A really fun fact that we wanted to emphasize here is that in this version of the story, when he lives his solitary life making music along the shores of Lake Mithrim, he uses a harp that he made himself, made of wood and, quote, the sinews of bears.
Dang.
Which is fucking another just metal-ass first-age Tolkien thing. Like,
dude, I need that to be in a survival crafting game where I can cut down the tree and kill a bear and make a
like one of these
bear sinew harp. Yeah.
One of these first-age Tolkien metal bands out there has got to use this as inspiration for a song if they haven't already.
Yeah.
Like, I play on my harp made of the sinews of bears.
I just want a bear sinew harp album, a concept album, bear sinew harp. Wow, that's cool. Bear sinew. Wow, gross. And we also established that we hate that word sinew. Gross.
Yeah. It is a particularly I don't know.
It came up. I think the first time it came up is when Mary on the podcast, at least Mary. It says in the Return of the King that he stabs him in the sinews behind his knee.
Yeah, it's like extra visceral for some reason.
Gross. Ugh, but yeah, when people started listening to Tour and his music making in his solitude, he left and he just left the mountains.
Yeah, he decided to head for the mountains because he was sick of people.
Fame wasn't for him.
No, he was like, I wonder. It's cool you like this, but get out of my life. I'm gonna go live a lonesome life in the mountains.
So like Turin, he spends a lot of time in solitude. I wonder if that's maybe a reason why he decided to not have this be the canon version. Because you can't have both of those characters be super solitary dudes.
Oh, to counterbalance his cousin Turin.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's definitely a good point, Trevor. These two tales, they do back up against each other, and they're cousins. So, like, you kind of want them to be different people, right?
Yeah, but right. Not the same story.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of gives a little more emphasis on the symbolism of them meeting at the pools of Ivrin, but not actually meeting there.
Yeah.
Right, like they're definitely kind of part of the same story, but they're two different places.
Yeah, that's super insightful. Way to go, Trev.
So in this Turlin version, we also get more info about Ulmo.
Of course. Before in the original tale, it was said that Ulmo was just acting on his own design and desire, right?
Yeah, not much information given about his motives. But in this version, it goes further into detail about Ulmo's explicit efforts to try to convince the other Valar to intervene in the events in Middle-earth right now with Melkor and stuff.
Yeah, ultimately the Valar would agree to intervene if one of the free people somehow made a trip to Valinor to personally plead for the Valar's help. I love this, first of all.
Super specific.
Fucking specific. And it's like, if you do that one thing that we've made super hard on purpose.
Yeah, we specifically made it more or less impossible.
Yeah, without any help from us, and you do that, then we'll talk to you. How snooty, you know what I mean? Like... Fucking A.
It really paints the gods as kind of assholes, really.
They really are, quite worthless assholes a lot of the time. Yeah, we've talked about that on the Discord before. I think me and Mark were talking about it one time, how the gods are just fucking worthless a lot of the times. Oh, no, it was good, because it was the Aussie episode, we were talking about Manway being a piece of shit, remember? The Aussie Manway in the bit we did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right,
yeah.
Well, we also get more detail about Ulmo's efforts to persuade the elven messengers to go seek Valinor, basically to fulfill this impossible task that the other Valar are requesting be done for their aid. So, as well, we also get some detail about Ulmo's reasoning for ultimately choosing a man as his messenger to Turgon.
Oh, okay.
Basically because none of his elven messengers were ever able to overcome the perils and temptations of Melko that he had placed along the road. He figured perhaps a man could do it.
Oh, okay.
Which I find super weird, because at least in the Lord of the Rings, it paints men as the most corruptible.
The more corruptible race.
The more corruptible,
right.
Yeah.
Which I always backlash against, right? Especially like if you watch our fucking Rings of Power, our ROP reviews or whatever the fuck we do on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel. But yeah, I've talked about that, how they can't imagine men being better in any way than elves, really.
Right.
They're way more corruptible. They're just shittier in general. Like, they even make them out to seem like they're less hardy than elves in a way. And that's like one of the main differences, right? Is that men can endure bullshit that elves can't, right?
Well, they're also forced to endure things like illness
Illness
stuff,
and
but-
all that, right?
But like
Hardship.
that
and,
definitely just inherently makes them more hardy, I would say.
Right, right.
And the last thing that the Turlin version adds to this story is more information about the Valar and the general hiding of Valinor. So there you have it. That is what the Turlin version changes and adds to the story. It's a lot of development around like the gods' role,
Yeah,
and their relation to
the divine part of this whole thing.
yeah, and how the fall of Gondolin kind of ties in with a greater, deeper history with the gods. It's a lot,
Right.
a lot of that kind of focus here.
Honestly, I would love to have seen a little bit more of that in general in Tolkien's work. Like, just more about the gods and not just kind of like,
Maybe-
like, sure, we have the Anulindale and stuff in the beginning, and but we don't get a whole lot going further into the ages.
I feel like if he did, we wouldn't have so many people saying how Christian his work is all the time, right?
Sure, yeah.
You could be like, oh, there's like all these weird gods and stuff that relate to all this bullshit. Oh, never mind.
Right,
Yeah.
and they have some kind of friggin' purpose. Like,
Yeah.
what?
He also started fleshing out the character of Turlin a little bit in this one too.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that was the Turlin version. So let's
Hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you enjoyed it. So let's dive into the next source material here. This is the Lay of the Fall of Gondolin,
Yeah,
aka the Lay.
The lay phase.
We're all gonna get laid.
Exactly, yeah, the
Yeah.
Lay phase. Yeah, so this was written in that early 1920s phase when he was going to town on the lays.
Yes.
And we don't mean the chips.
Yeah, Frito Lays. Yeah.
Lay's potato chips.
Were Lays around in the early 20s? Probably.
Hell if I know.
I don't know.
We're not a potato chip podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. That's.
If you want to hear a potato chip podcast, let us know.
I was gonna say. Is this son of a bitch know a potato chip podcast that he's about to drop on? You should. First of all, you're not supposed to plug other people's podcasts. Second of all, a chip podcast. Okay.
So the Lay. So this, unfortunately, is one area where Christopher Tolkien kind of neglects to cover. He actually neglects this subject a lot. We don't get much about it at all anywhere. And Christopher did not include any of the Lay in the recent book, The Fall of Gondolin, which you'd think
Didn't
if you-
find it to
that's-
be important.
it's
Yeah.
If it would be
insane.
anywhere, you'd think it would be there, right?
Right. Considering how many other things, and he covers friggin' Turlin, why not the lay?
Right, and so that book is sort of the basis for a lot of this Fall of Gondolin content we're getting you in this series, and so the fact that he referenced it and then didn't give us any of it was a little frustrating, so instead we jumped over to the Lays of Beleriand for pretty much the only available information on the Lay of the Fall of Gondolin.
You forgot. You already published it 30 years ago. Nah.
Not much. So in the Lays of Beleriand book that Christopher published, is in the history of Middle-earth way back in, what was that, like the 80s?
Yeah, I think it was in the 80s, yeah.
So then Christopher states that his father, J.R.R., wrote about 130 lines of the Lays of the Fall of Gondolin.
Not short.
It's not sure. That's a decent amount.
Yeah.
However, Christopher only ever quotes a few short sections in the Lays of Beleriand. So we don't even get all those 130 lines.
And out of sheer frustration that so little of this is given, we decided to do something, either punish or reward you, I don't know. We're just going to read all of it.
Yeah, we're going to read all of the Lay of the Fall of Gondolin. That is available to us, which honestly isn't too much. It's just 3 quick excerpts, one for each of us.
Yeah, we're going to split it up into 3. Joel's going to go first, me, and then Trev. But this is all that there is, guys. So
Enjoy it while you got it.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts.
So this first one is going to be regarding Eol and Isfin and Maglin. Lo, that prince of Gondabar, dark Eol's son, whom Isfin, in a mountain dale afar, in the gloom of Doriath's forest, the white-limbed maiden bare, the daughter of Fingolfin, Gelmir's mighty heir. 'Twas the bent blades of the Glamhoth that drank Fingolfin's life, as he stood alone by Feanor, but his maiden and his wife were wildered as they sought him in the forests of the night, in the pathless woods of Doriath, so dark that as a light of palely mirrored moonshine were their slender elfin limbs, straying among the black holes where only the dim at skim. From Thu's dark-delved caverns there Eol saw that sheen, and he caught that white-limbed Isfin, that she ever since hath been, his mate in Doriath's forest, where she weepeth in the gloam, For the dark elves were his kindred that wander without home. Maeglin she sent to Gondolin, in his honor there was high, as the latest seed of Fingolfin, whose glory shall not die. A lordship he won of the gnome folk who quarry in the earth, seeking their ancient jewels, but little was his mirth. And dark he was, and secret, and his hair as the strands of night, that are tangled in Tar Nufuin, the forest without light.
All right, guys, we got another one here from the Lays of Beleriand. This is regarding Tuor and Bronwig. There's a little thing here. Stay tuned. Thither Tuor, son of Fengel, came out of the dim land that the gnomes have called Dorloman, with Bronwig at his hand, who fled from the Iron Mountains and had broken Melko's chain, and cast his yoke of evil, of torment and bitter pain, who alone, most faithful-hearted, led Tuor by long ways, through empty hills and valleys, by dark nights and perilous days, till his blue lamp, magic kindled, found that gate beneath the hills, the door in dark Dungorthin that only gnome folk knew.
All right, and the last part of the lay that we've got for you is regarding when Tuor learns the name of the city. Rejoice that ye have found it, and rest from endless war. For the seven-named city 'tis that stands upon the hill, where all who strive with Morgoth find hope and valor still. What be those names? Said Tuor, for I come from long afar. 'Tis said and 'tis sung, one answered. My name is Gondabar, and Gondoth Limbar also, the city hewn of stone, the fortress of the gnome folk, who dwell in halls of stone.
You can tell this is, early drafts,
Right.
Rhyming stone with stone.
Yeah, mine just gave up at the end. Mine was like hills and then new. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and these are just pieces of the lay too, right? So what we
What
might just be
came
missing.
We might be missing the other
before
rhyme.
and after.
Yeah,
for
which is
those
why it's kind of
rhymes.
frustrating that is literally as much as we the readers get of what exists of the Lay of Gondolin, because that's
Yeah.
all that Christopher ever gives to us.
Yeah, that's
Right.
pretty frustrating.
And I feel like it really kind of it feels bad to read this because we don't have the complete parts. It feels
Right.
I mean, it is incomplete, but it feels more incomplete because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want to give more, but there isn't any more to give. In the Lays of Beleriand book, all that Christopher Tolkien ultimately says about it is, quote, "It does not, so far as the main narrative is concerned, add anything to the tale, and my father found, as I think, the metrical form unsuitable to the purpose." End quote. So, I mean, it makes sense. Neither Christopher nor his father found the whole lay format to be worthwhile. It didn't add anything to the story, I guess.
But as a Tolkieneer, it's fucking frustrating.
But as a Tolkieneer,
Yeah.
we want more.
Yeah, exactly. So what does the lay add to the snowball? More information on Maeglin's backstory, for sure, right?
Yeah, it develops the story of his parents, Isfin and Eol, a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And they're meeting in the forest of Doriath versus Tarnufuin, which it later becomes, right?
Which it was prior to this.
Oh, it's prior to this, sorry, rather.
Yeah, and it also establishes Tuor as the son of Fengel.
Yeah, it changes his Tuor's parentage a little bit.
Did it say, I forget, did it say about, is Isfin and Eol consensual in this version?
No, not necessarily, no.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. That's, I'm glad they kept that. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was pretty grim. It said that she was weeping in the gloom all the time.
Yes, not happy.
All right, so the next source material we've got for you is the Sketch Mythology.
AKA The Sketch. And this was written in 1926. Everybody who is a Tolkien origins nerd that likes to get into the nitty-gritty of this bullshit like we do knows about the Sketch of Mythology. It's very famous in our line of work. It is a sketch of mythology that's 28. It's a 28-page synopsis written to explain the background of the story of Turin. So just setting up the story of Turin to his friend R.W. Reynolds. And he had sent this dude several of his stories in the past. And he's just setting up a new one, basically, with this 28-page synopsis that goes on to become gold for us. It's a priceless document for people like us,
Right, but it's very condensed.
Yes.
Very condensed. And Christopher explains that for that reason, for its brevity, Christopher does not consider the sketch of the mythology to be, quote-unquote, like the first Silmarillion, because it really, first of all, only covers some of the history necessary to tell the story of Turin, and secondly, because everything in it is so brief, so short,
Right.
so lacking of detail.
It's like reading a Wikipedia page about an event.
Or like Cliff Notes.
Or yeah, Cliff Notes, better yet.
So the version of the fall of Gondolin that's told in the sketch is naturally very short, and Christopher, again, considers it incomplete due to how short it is. In fact, Christopher did not consider most of the stories to be complete, just for that reason.
So he hates on the sketch. It kind of seems.
Seems like he hates it.
He doesn't have respect for it.
No respect at all. No, I think he recognizes
Just putting words
its
in
origins,
a dead man's
but-
mouth. Yeah, he fucking hates his dad's work.
Yeah, I will attest that Christopher hates this one.
Always hated that sketch.
Always hated it.
Those 28 pages. He used those for toilet paper as soon as he found them.
Lordy. Let's go over some of what the sketch changes.
Yes.
Right. So it had some background on the River Syrian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Specifically that it flows southwest through a green country that had few people living in it due to the frequency of orcs.
Mm-hmm.
However, orcs didn't live in this region because of the power of Ymir in this land, which is actually Ulmo's name
Right.
in this.
Yeah. It changes the place where Aeol and Isfin meet. In the lay, they meet in Doriath, but here in the sketch, they meet in Tar-Nufuin.
Changes it right back.
Changes it right the fuck back.
Bit of whiplash there.
Yeah, and Isfin is lost after the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, which is different than canon.
This adds that detail.
Yeah, in canon, isn't she's trying to get away from people that are always following her, right? Is her brother's escort?
She gets leave to leave Gondolin and has an escort, and then she dips out on her escort.
Yeah, she's turned from following. Yeah.
So the sketch also establishes that the people of Turgon escaped the Battle of Unnumbered Tears thanks to the aid of Hurin, the man.
Nice.
Yeah.
It also establishes that the edges of the hill of Amonkwareth, where Gondolin is built, those edges are polished so much so that they are as smooth as glass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, a very random detail. It also gives more background on Tuor himself. He is now named as one of the Edain, specifically of the House of Hador.
So it looks like this stuff has been developing in the meantime.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. And even more specifically, he's the son of Huor, making him the cousin of Turin. So now all of these connections are coming together.
They're
Like you can really see like the old histories and the tales really weaving together.
Well, and I'm actually just now noticing that Hurin in Turin, it's Huor and Tuor.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you can see both of those men didn't have particularly adventurous naming schemes for their sons, but
It's almost like it's like that family thing. It's like naming your kids after yourself, but kind of not.
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, the Edain. It said when I was doing the men episode that it's tradition in the early Edain to have alliterative names between father and sons.
I guess that might make them easier to remember.
I guess, yeah. They all mean wildly different shit in their language, but they all sound the same. So
Yeah,
like
slight differences
There's a whole
all of a
poetry
sudden.
going on there.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
So the sketch, it also establishes that Tuor's father, Huor, was slain in the Battle of Unnumbered Tears.
That's important.
Also that Tuor's mother, Rion, searched for her husband Huor's body on the field of battle and then dies there when she finds the Hill of the Slain.
Yeah. This also establishes that Tuor was made a thrall by evil men that occupied Hithlum after the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. That's important. He's enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
And when he matures, he eventually he escapes and lives the life of the outlaw, right? On the road.
Solitary outlaw.
There's another guy who does that with a T name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow, so many straight comparisons.
I wonder how many, if you just did a poll of, outlaws at this time period in Middle-earth, you probably had some, important people, because they're all, a lot of them are running from war, right?
Yeah.
So, you'd have, you'd have remnants of the House of Hador, I'm sure. I'm sure there's men of the House of Beor wandering around, too, that didn't, stick with Barahir, I'm sure. So, yeah, it would be interesting. Interesting time to be an outlaw.
Interesting that they use the term outlaw too, because
Yeah.
it like I feel like typically when you say somebody's an outlaw, that's like
I think-
on the edge of society, or like they're maybe doing illegal shit.
I think it implies that they steal shit, is what I always like, steal and possibly kill people if they have to.
Anytime I hear Tolkien use outlaw, especially in like the first age, it always makes me think of like a Robin Hood character.
Yeah, like a highwayman, type of person. Yeah.
But I don't feel like because these don't seem like the kind of people that do wrong to people, right? Like they're obviously doing bad shit to orcs and stuff, but like, are they outlaws against people? Or
Oh,
are they
yeah,
outlaws
there's
against orcs.
There's a whole remember there's that whole period where Turin he eventually bans, he's like, we only fuck with orcs from now on, remember?
Right.
We only
Yeah,
kill,
that's
yeah,
right.
We only kill orcs. We
Yeah.
don't raid people anymore.
Yeah, we don't fuck with people. Yeah, because they were doing some terrible shit, remember?
Yeah, they were raiding different camps and random villages and things, and
Turin was
attacking women and things.
attacking women.
and that's what really drew the line for Turin.
That's what drew the line for him.
Does he lose his outlaw status at that point, you think?
I mean,
Probably just more
in your
upstanding
opinion-
outlaws than
Yeah,
other
what are-
outlaws, I guess. But
yeah, what are you at that point?
an upstanding outlaw.
It's going to get to semantics at some point.
Yeah.
So the sketch also temporarily changes the timeline surrounding the founding of the city of Gondolin. Now in the sketch, Turgon discovers the hidden valley where Gondolin is built after escaping the near Nathar-Noediad, which is really rapid succession of like finding this, building a city, and then the fall.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Tolkien would later change this back to the way it was before, having it been made centuries before the Near Nath, which kind of makes more sense, gives it more of a history and establishment.
Yeah, definitely. This version also changes Morgoth's search for Gondolin so that he could not find Gondolin until he captured Meglin. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That Meglin was the key to the whole thing.
I think, I like that way more than him, like, being on the outside and constantly, like, I know where it is, but I can't do anything about it yet.
Yeah.
I like it. This is much better, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one also establishes that Ulmo explains to Tuor ahead of time what he's going to be warning Turgon about. Right?
Exactly. Kind of clues him in on what he's doing.
Which makes more sense to me, but is
Hey, I need
less
you to go
funny.
there to tell him this because this,
It's
not just go there and when you get there,
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll
Yeah,
telephone.
Yeah, just ... I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's better to give him a reason, like not just I'm a god, do what I say, like, or you've been chosen. Like, okay, that's nice, but
Yeah, so that there, you may have noticed that despite the fact that this sketch is considered incomplete due to how short it is,
It adds important shit.
it adds quite a bit. You can see that at this point that, the sketch was written, Tolkien had developed this history, this world quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into our next source material, number 6 on the list of 7. This is the Quenta Noldorinwa, a.k.a. the Quenta.
Yeah, you've
The
definitely heard us reference this guy before.
So the story of the fall of Gondolin within the Quenta Noldorinwa is about 17 pages long, and it was written about 1930.
well, hold up. We said that the sketch was 28 pages. We were just condensing even more.
Well, it was 28 pages all together. So it was like 28 pages laying out the history of the First Age. So the part that we're concerned with for these episodes was probably only a few pages long. It's been a while since I read the sketch.
The fall of Gondolin within the sketch. It's a good distinction to make. Thank you, Trevor. The fall of Gondolin within the sketch was only a couple pages long.
Right.
Now, with the fall of Gondolin within the Quenta Noldorin was about 17 pages long. Pretty fleshed out.
Oh wow!
Comparatively.
So the sketch was even more condensed than I thought.
Yeah, the sketch is uber condensed.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But now the Quenta really fleshes things out a lot for us. So again, this was written in about 1930, and it's somewhat short compared to like the original version or the final version, but it is complete, and it's largely based on the sketch.
Right. It has a beginning and middle end. Which, when you get into these, the nitty-gritty Tolkien stuff here, is to have a beginning, middle, end, you're lucky.
Exactly.
If you have that. So the Quenta Noldorinwa, we've said this before, is really the only complete version of the Silmarillion that J.R.R. Tolkien had ever written, because it wasn't his son, Christopher, was the brains behind the 77 novel Silmarillion that we know of, right?
Yeah, and there were a lot of changes made to make it the Silmarillion. A lot of
Right.
developments. But being that the Quenta is a series of stories, like the Silmarillion, all the stories told in it are somewhat compressed compared to their original versions, aka the individual independent tales.
Right. This is where you get that sweeping storyline that we're all familiar with.
Right, so
from
in this case,
Silmarillion.
we'd be comparing it to the original tale.
Mm.
This is going to be much shorter than the original tale, but it is still complete. So, for example, the original tale covers the Battle of the Fall of Gondolin in 12 pages, whereas here in the Quenta, it covers the battle in about 20 lines.
Good Lord.
So quite condensed compared to the original tales still.
And I just have to say, those 12 pages were 12 glorious pages.
Glorious,
yeah.
glorious
Glorious.
pages.
But, the Quenta, it also went through multiple revisions itself. So to save on the headache, we're just going to cover the last version.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we say Quenta Noldorinwa, we mean the final version of the Quenta Noldorinwa.
Yeah, the most developed version of it that Tolkien ever achieved himself.
Yeah, let's talk about the snowball again. Let's get back to that snowball.
Yeah, let's get to the snowball. What does the Quenta, what does it do?
What did it add to the snowball, the Quenta? In general, it expands on the version that's told in the sketch of the mythology. However, it is nowhere as long as the original tale. Like I said, this one's kind of weird. It shaves shit off as we go through the timeline.
Yeah, and adds some details about Turgon's history crossing the Helcarax and how he came to live in Nevrest.
Cool. It adds details about how Turgon was the leader of a large number of people, but he becomes restless about their safety, considering the current, zeitgeist of Middle-earth, as it were.
It had some details about Turgon's dream given to him from Ulmo that warned Turgon to build a place of safety. It also adds details about Turgon's discovery of the hidden veil of Tumladen and his initial conception of the city of Gondolin.
It even adds details about the building of Gondolin itself.
Nice.
It adds some details about Ulmo's initial warning to Turgon and the sizing instructions for the prophetic armor Turgon was to build, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that he leaves for Tuor ultimately.
It also adds details about the disappearance of Turgon's people from Nevrast when they migrated to Gondolin. Because you remember they settled in Nevrast at first.
And then they secretly...
Yeah, they secretly moved up to Tumladen after a while, after having built a city there for, 40 years or something it took them to build? Yeah.
It establishes that Bronweg, a.k.a. Voronwe, was once one of Turgon's people. So he always meant to try to find the way to Gondolin, even though he'd never been there, because that's ultimately where all of Turgon's folks end up going.
Right.
So he had even more reason.
So he hadn't made it from Nevrast to Gondolin.
Right.
Okay. This also establishes Tuor's conversation with Ulmo that it was so powerful that he wrote a song about it years later for his son Eärendil.
Cute.
Yeah, that's nice. I wonder if he played it on that sinew fucking
Bear sinew harp.
Awesome.
fucking monstrosity of a instrument.
Listen to this song, my son.
Yeah, listen to this, my son.
Can you plug it into an amp?
Yeah, can you?
Metal bear harp.
The Quenta also changes the hidden entrance tunnel to Gondolin to be in the side of a large gorge that Sirion had ran through versus just being a tunnel in the banks of Sirion itself like it was previously.
Mm,
Yeah, and the tunnel now also includes 2 gates.
cool.
I really like that because it feels like it's a more natural, like less conspicuous thing. It's like it's just a river. This is where nature's going instead of maybe being like a cave or something on the side of a beach or something.
Mm-hmm.
Good job on that one, Tolkien. I really like that change.
Way to go, Tolkien. And like we said, this is the Quentin Oldarinwa, so this is his most finalized version of this.
The most official.
Yeah. So let's talk about the 7th source material.
The final source
the final
material.
one. This is of Tuor and is coming to Gondolin. We've long talked about our love for this piece of literature. This is also known as the final version, written in 1951, after The Lord of the Rings was finished, but not yet published.
Wow. So this story, over 30 years
Mm-hmm.
of revision.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's 34 pages long. That's about an hour via audiobook if you keep it on the times 0 or whatever.
Right,
1.0.
Yeah, 1.0, yeah. It was a lone manuscript and not part of any other larger work. And this one is much more fleshed out, but fucking incomplete. Love that. You can't have both, right?
Right. Yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Oh, you want it fleshed out? Well, I'm not going to finish it.
Too damn bad. So, but why? Why did Tolkien leave this latest version incomplete? Well, to attempt to explain J.R.R. Tolkien's state of mind at the time, Christopher, he cites 2 of his father's letters that were written to Sir Stanley Unwin.
You could find these in the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien if you're looking for more detail on them. But the first letter was written in February of 1950, and in it Tolkien expresses that he would like both the Silmarillion and the Lord of the Rings to be published together, since they are both essentially, part of the same work. The Lord of the Rings is essentially a sequel to the Silmarillion, rather than being a sequel to The Hobbit.
Sure fucking is.
When he wants them published together, does he want them published like in series, or does he want them included as one big volume?
Basically, if they're going to publish one, he wants them to publish the other one as well.
All right, so he does want them like each of their individual books in a series.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then the second letter here that Christopher cites is, again, a letter to Sir Stanley Unwin, but this is in June of 1952, so about 2 years later. And in this letter, Tolkien grieves that both The Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion are no closer to getting published than they were 2 years ago.
Which, I mean, honestly, yeah, full 2 years of work on something like that and making no progress. Yeah, hitting a wall like that would really suck. And, Tolkien even expresses his disillusionment with the publishing process in one of these letters. And we've got one. This is letter number 133 from the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien. Give it to us, Joel.
As for The Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion, they are where they were, the one finished and the end revised, and the other still unfinished or unrevised, and both gathering dust. I have been off and on too unwell and too burdened to do much about them, and too downhearted, watching paper shortages and costs mounting against me. But I have rather modified my views. Better something than nothing. Although to me all are one, and The Lord of the Rings would be better far as part of the whole, I would gladly consider the publication of any part of this stuff. Years are becoming precious, and retirement, not far off, will, as far as I can see, bring not leisure, but a poverty that will necessitate scraping a living by examining and such like tasks.
Man.
Sort of depressing.
It's really sad to hear.
Honestly, these Unwin and Allen people are... What the fuck is wrong with them?
I mean, look at how big all of these works, even
Like,
just random little notes are. Like,
you fucking fools. That's all I can say, really, is like, you could have made money hand over fist with this shit, in my
I wish
opinion.
he could have seen some more of the success that his books would bring.
Yeah, like, I mean, the Silmarillion coming out in the 50s, could you imagine that? Would have changed the world. It would have been insane.
To be
Would have changed
fair,
everything.
To be fair, at least to some extent, like a big part of why, like the Lord of the Rings, say, got so much attention was because of PJ's movies, though.
I mean, in our generation.
Right.
They were extremely
But they're-
popular in their own right, and
Right.
like especially throughout like the 60s and 70s. Like,
Yeah, 60s and 70s when it really took off. Yeah, I mean, the only reason they got 3 movies made, like, remember they made 3 movies in succession. It was a huge gamble. The only reason they did that is because they knew those books were super beloved and that people will probably go see this.
they'd also made those movies before.
And they also had, yes, true,
Yeah.
had previous adaptations of the films, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the animated series.
Yeah.
That shit brings me back.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess that just kind of shows like that they tried in the past, and then like, I mean, look where it is now.
Yeah.
Jeez,
It's a monster now.
it's not as bad as Marvel though.
Oh my God, could you imagine if it were? Could you imagine?
I don't want to. Rings of Power is
Oh,
already
Lord.
disappointing
Yeah,
me.
Rop is
down-
bad enough. Could you imagine, man? Oh, man.
All right.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah, we digress.
So we're talking about the final version written in 1952. So many of the stories that Tolkien began writing during this time were often left incomplete. This includes not only the final version of The Fall of Gondolin that we're talking about here, but also The Lay of Leithian. He
Mhm.
started revising that in this era, and it went incomplete. And let me tell you, the new revisions that he made are only fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, he began the Great Annals of Beleriand during this time, which are really cool. You guys should check those out. Those are incomplete.
I was going to say those are unfinished as well. Yeah.
He began revisions to the Quenta Noldorinwa, what would eventually become the Quenta Silmarillion.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the revisions to, as we've been talking about here today, the Tale of Tuor and the Fall of Gondolin.
Damn.
But all of these went incomplete because he just lost his I
The
don't
will
want
to
say
do it. Yeah.
I don't want to say he lost his heart in it, but he was obviously very downtrodden at the time.
Well, I mean, he's old too. As an artist at that point, you got to look.
and nobody's
it's like,
willing to publish his stuff.
Yeah, it's like I'm
It's
old.
hard.
I'm old as hell. Like, does this deserve the effort? It's sad to be in that position as an artist, right?
And now we're left with a bunch of Tolkien mysteries.
Yes.
Tolkien Mysteries.
Yes.
Well, this half-complete final version changes a few things and adds a few things to the tale. It adds the characters of Gelmir and Arminas, the two Noldoran elves who guide Tuor through the gate of the Noldor.
Love those guys.
Yeah. I love when they they get into it with Turin, remember?
Yeah, they're ultimately sent by Círdan to warn Nargothrond of its coming demise, so they end up in Two Tales.
Yeah,
I love
they're in
that.
Two Tales, yeah. And they I think it's Arminas has friend Arminas. Yeah. That's right. He has words with Turin, yeah.
Well, I love how there's characters that can go between two stories, but they're not the main characters.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what's cool about Tolkien.
Like, it feels like there's, like, stuff is happening.
Like Gelmir and
all over the
Arminas,
place.
like Círdan the shipwright. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
and gosh, like I hate to bring this up because I just mentioned Marvel, but whatever. Marvel again, when Netflix did that Marvel series, it did a kind of similar thing. Like you had your main characters telling the story, but then there were some side characters that would bounce between the different people's
you're talking
stories.
like the early, like the beginning Marvel
the
Netflix stuff.
Yeah, the
right?
Marvel, and the Marvel Netflix stuff. Like, there's a few characters that go between the shows. They're not main characters, but they're supporting cast, and they're important to the overall picture of everything that's going on. Just like these guys are.
I did very much enjoy the early Marvel Netflix shows. Those were pretty good.
I did too, yeah. I believe I turned all of you onto them. But
I think
whatever.
you're right.
Yeah, because Daredevil.
Because
Yeah.
Daredevil. Yeah, you didn't believe me that Daredevil was badass.
Yeah, unequivocally, I can say those Marvel series are, I think, far and above all the movies and stuff they ever did. Like,
Yeah.
Especially the nowadays stuff, yeah.
But yeah.
We digress.
Again. No, but this is kind of like that one or two kids in high school that can go from click to click, right? Just go back and forth, hang out with the jocks,
Gelmir and
the
Arminas.
nerds. That's
Hell
yeah, that was actually kind of me.
Were you a click jumper? You could go from one group to the next.
Yeah, I didn't have
That-
my
I
own
s-
cliques, so I just had several people in other cliques. That I knew.
How do I of course you I know who you are now, and of course you were, because you're such a nice and personable person that I could see you being cool with it, like not having beef with I had beef with fucking everybody in high school, right? Like you, I feel like you didn't have many beefs with people.
I didn't have
probably.
any beefs with people.
Yeah, that's
but I
good.
knew the people that wanted to beat each other up, and it's just kind of like, well, I'm not getting in between that. You
Yeah,
guys
just let that kind of
That's you guys. I'll go to
unfold,
these
yeah.
guys.
Well, the final version, it also expands the account of Tuor and Voronway's journey from the sea to Gondolin.
Oh yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, it adds in the fact that their journey was very bitter through very frigid conditions during a fell winter of 495.
Oh,
yeah, it connects all that to the history of the First Age. Remember?
Yeah, it also adds their coming to the pools of Ivrin and their
Right.
encounter seeing a strange tall man with a black sword running north screaming strange elven names.
Who could that be?
Who could that be?
Followed by that article in the Misconnections.
Yeah,
Followed
that
by
we
that
read.
article in the Balerian Misconnections. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I just listened to that the other day, and it's very funny. Yeah, I love it.
So we've also got it covering their escape from a band of orcs and the coming of the eagles.
Yeah, all these things are added here in the final version. It also changes the layout of the hidden entrance to Gondolin once again. Now the entrance to the hidden tunnel is in the side of a dry river that used to be a tributary to Sirion.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, it's like you take a hidden road up the dry river, which is full of stones, and it goes up really sharply. And then where the dry river meets the encircling mountains, there's a hidden opening to the secret tunnel. And the tunnel, it's like covered by brush and stuff. But the tunnel exists, the tunnel exits into a large ravine on the inside of the mountains, with super steep sides, and that ravine also has 7 gates, leading up to Gondolin.
7. Yeah.
I really love that. I really love the hidden entrance with like no structures or anything. It's in it. Then they utilize nature, a cave.
I love the redundancy of it too.
Right.
Like,
You find the big river. Now find the dry river and take that dry river up until you find a river tunnel that's dry, and you go through that river tunnel until you come out to a dry ravine on the other side. And then
Can you guys picture the Ocean's 11 movie that this could make?
oh, that'd be cool.
You're just trying to break into Gondolin, going through the 7 gates, and
Hell yeah.
also, we've been seeing a lot of art on the Discord representing the 7 gates of Gondolin. That's really cool.
Yeah.
a lot of them from Carmela Nikki.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, she contributes a shitload on the Discord.
Yeah, those are all really awesome. There's a map that was just posted today. We're recording, and
Yeah, we were just talking about it.
yeah, we were just talking about it, and like
The
that would have
map of
been
Gondolin.
that would have been
was
so
really
cool to go play by play. Like if you guys are listening to this episode, go back to that episode and
Yeah.
try to follow along with that map. It's like
Yeah.
that battle. It goes everywhere.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, and also if you're not on the Discord, join the Discord, and you'll see that map that Carmela posted.
Yeah, shout out to Carmela Nikki again.
Yeah, she
I know
rules.
she was really excited for the Fall of Gondolin stuff.
Yeah, yes, she was. Yeah, and we're just what episode just aired? One, the first one. First 2. Okay, yeah.
first 2,
As
the
we
canon.
speak, 2 episodes of the canon is out. So yeah, they're coming out.
Look forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, that is basically our coverage of how the story of the Fall of Gondolin changed over time across the 7 different source materials. That, again, were the
Ooh.
earliest text, the original tale, Turlin and the Exiles of Gondolin, the Lay of the Fall of Gondolin, the sketch of the mythology, or at least the story of the Fall of Gondolin within the sketch, and likewise the story of the Fall of Gondolin within the Cuenta Noldorinwa, and then, of course, the final version that we just talked about.
Honestly, this could almost like be its own like branching multiverse story. Like it reminds me of a video game where you have multiple paths, and like each of these little changes is
sure,
like
yeah.
a different path of
I
what,
suppose you could
what could
use
have been.
some of the
Design
different
it.
things that happen as inspiration for like different outcomes of different decisions.
Yeah,
And, like,
honestly, that's the video game I want.
yeah.
I want the variations and the things that were legitimately from Tolkien's brain just embellished a little bit. Like that would be cool.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Well, now there's another subject that we wanted to touch on before we wrap up the Fall of Gondolin for you guys, because, like we've said multiple times, the Fall of Gondolin is supposed to be the epic tale with hope. The Children of Hurin was the tragedy.
Yeah. No
Baron
hope
and
there.
Luthien was the love fairy tale. This was supposed to be the epic that ends in hope. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, but pretty much the ending is not terribly hopeful
Yeah,
to the fall of Gondolin.
No.
The city falls, and some of them make it out as refugees. The hope
Yeah.
was supposed to come in the form of the next tale, the tale of Earendil.
well, and that's even part of one of the titles, right?
Exactly, you're right. Yes. Thank you.
It is, yes. It straight up is.
Yeah, the full title of the original tale was, quote, Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth in the great tale of Earendil.
which is
they
it's,
never got to.
right, it's,
Which you never quite got to. Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. He's like name dropping the next time on Fall of
Exactly.
Gondolin,
In the-
Yeah,
in
and
the
then the show
title.
got canceled. Like,
In
Yeah.
the title for this one, like, giving a next time hint, yeah. Yeah, the tale of Earendil was supposed to be the next major tale after the fall of Gondolin. There was supposed to be a fourth, but unfortunately the tale of Earendil was never fully written.
Damn.
however, Tolkien did have some notes and outlines about it, including some very early poems, but there was never any independent work for the tale of Earendil, comparable to any of the other tales, like Baron and Luthien, Children of Hurin, Fall of Gondolin. Like this
Yeah.
could have been like the fourth in the series, and we just never got it.
Yeah, each one of those tales they're not only included in the sketch or the Quenta, but each one of those tales has their own like original independent like manuscript, like
Right.
fully fleshed out. The tale of Earendil didn't get that same treatment.
Bullshit.
There's actually only 2 complete narratives that include Earendil's tale in the telling of the history of the Elder Days. Those are in the sketch of the mythology from 1926, and then the Quenta Noldorinwa from 1930.
We barely friggin' know about this
Right.
guy.
So both very condensed.
It's kind of nuts, right? Because like we were just talking about like from 1951 when he was revising,
Right.
and then like he still never got around to touching this stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's sad. What could have been? But I mean, obviously, J.R.R. Tolkien wasn't going to live forever. So
Well, and oh man,
it was
there's
going to
so
have
much
to
already.
end at some point. There was always going to be open ends, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Tale of Eärendil. We wanted to give it to you guys as told by Tolkien himself in the latest version that he wrote, which would be the Quenta Nol Dorinwa. You can find this told in the Silmarillion with just a few updates to it.
Yeah.
But the way that Tolkien tells it
Sure,
himself in the Quenta is kind of almost a little extra fairy tale-like, and we really like it.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you the conclusion of the first stage in the Tale of Eärendil as told in the Quenta Nol Dorinwa.
Bonus content.
Just to wrap up the fall of Gondolin for you guys.
So let's set the scene. The refugees of Gondolin and Doriath. They're settling at the mouths of Sirion, right? And they kind of mingle together and become one people, you know? A refugee colony.
Yeah, they become shipbuilders and sailors, and in those days, Tuor, he began to feel his old age, and the sea longing had grown stronger in his heart. Therefore, he goes and he builds a ship, Eärame, Eagle's Pinion, and they set sail with Idril into the west, and they were never heard from again.
But it is said that Tuor may have been accepted into Valinor as a member of the elves, as a member of the elder race. We've got a quick excerpt here about this from the Quenta Silmarillion. You'll find this published in The Shaping of Middle-earth, Section 3, the Quenta. This is read by Danny.
But Tuor alone of mortal men was numbered among the elder race, and joined with the Noldali whom he loved, and in after time dwelt still, or so it hath been said, ever upon his ship voyaging the seas of the elven lands, or resting a while in the harbors of the gnomes of Tol Eressëa, and his fate is sundered from the fate of men.
I kind of find it crazy. So, like, Frodo and them, right? They go over to Valinor at the end of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
guys.
Those guys.
Those
Frodo
guys.
And them. Yeah.
But the impression is not that they get to like be immortal for the rest of the time or whatever. Like they might live extra long there, but eventually will pass, right?
Well, right, yeah, we had this argument, or not argument, but we've talked about this before. I think somebody it was some discussion episode on this great epic show that we have. Somebody asked me if they when they got to Valinor, if they live like if they're immortal, or do they or will they live longer? And I said, well, just due to better healthcare, yes. So they're gonna live longer because healthcare is better.
They went over to Valinor and discovered
Right.
science.
but like they're not gonna live forever,
Right,
because,
they can't have their ultimate fates taken away from them.
Yeah, they'll live as long as possible, but
They'll
they
still
won't.
get the fate of men in the end, which is
In the end.
some death, and then who knows what after
Who
that.
knows? Yeah,
But Tuor gets to be an elf.
it kind of implies that.
It kind of implies
It kind
that.
of
says
implies that.
He was numbered among the elder race and joined with the Noldali whom he loved. So, I mean, it kind of says, like, I don't know, honorary member in the very least.
Sure,
Yeah.
that feels like kind of feels like a disservice because I feel like the whole saga of the One Ring and all that stuff was way more impactful in the grand scheme of things in Middle Earth. Like I feel like Frodo and them should have gotten that treatment.
So you're saying Frodo and them are more badass than Tuor?
I wouldn't use the term badass.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
No, I was
they do
just-
different things, but the importance of their
Yeah, I was just trying to get you to step in it.
Yeah, I know.
No, 100%. I don't know. It's like you said, the Lord of the Rings. It does have. I don't know. Does he deserve? Did they deserve to be immortal? Maybe. Does Tuor get to be immortal? It kind of seems that way.
well, he gets to be immortal, and then Turin gets to come back at the end of time.
Just stab Morgoth in the fucking heart.
He gets
yeah.
vengeance,
Yeah,
and then
to kill
but
someone.
By that time, like Frodo and them are probably dead, right?
Oh yeah.
Graves in Valinor,
I'm
like
sure. Yeah, they're.
I
Buried.
would assume so.
Yeah, I'm sure they're spent.
I have opinions and feelings. Sorry.
Well, after the exit of Tuor, his son became the lord of the folk of Sirion and ended up getting married to Elwing, who is the daughter of Dior, who was the last ruler of Doriath.
Yeah, so it's the kind of the leading families of both factions.
Yeah, of both
Kind
factions of refugees. Yeah.
Kind of marrying together here. So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And together they had 2 sons, Elrond and Elros, both half elven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm kind of mad that Elrond and Elros are considered the half elven, considering that Eärendil should technically be half elven. Shouldn't they be quarter elven? You know what I mean? Like, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I think the math is right.
But
right?
But if we have to accept that Tuor becomes an elf, then does Eärendil then gain the property inherently?
Well, I think where it comes from is
Well,
Elwing is...
she's half elven as well.
She's half elven as well.
I think they consider anybody who has mixed...
and Eärendil is half elven as well.
Right, yeah.
So both the sons would be half elven and half man.
Dior was half elven too, but he's dead. So
I think that's where the half elven comes from.
yeah, I think so too.
But they're not literally half, right? Like,
yeah, like mathematically, no,
that's not the
no,
not
not
how
all,
the genealogy would
not
work.
all of them, but yeah, they just consider them half elven. I think it was because they call them that because they weren't sure like what fate they were going to have when they died.
Right, mortal or elven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're really getting into it, technically they have a small sliver of Maiar in them too.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Oh, that's true.
Are they immortal? Yeah.
So, you're right. It's not a perfect half and half.
Gosh, that's a complicated situation.
It really is. Genealogy's fucked, man.
Especially when it comes to
to fantasy characters. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say like the breeding between 2 different races, really.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Who even knows if they truly have the chromosomes? We were considered for a long time like maybe hobbits are because dwarves banged elves. Maybe
That's what I thought. Dude. So I totally thought hobbits.
You all were just talking about this on the Discord the other day.
So originally, back in the day, before I really dove into any of this, I thought hobbits were, obviously a crossbreed between dwarves and elves. The pointy ears,
Gross.
but they're also really short, and got like hairy feet and stuff. Like elf and a dwarf. Ta-da! Hobbit.
Well, and they really love nature, but they're also like really good at like farming and working stuff. So like they kind of share those
they're
qualities.
all little worker bees. It all made sense to me, but it's absolutely none of that at all. Somehow they're just offshoots of men, and they somehow got pointy ears. It's not what I expected, but
Oh, okay. Well, I guess moving on.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm getting really sidetracked.
We're
now.
all tangenting now. So, yeah, Eärendil, he began to feel calling in his heart to seek Valinor in order to ask help of the Valar against Melkor, because he's still a problem. And for this reason, Eärendil built the ship Vingalot, which is Quenya for foam flower.
Fuck yeah.
Beautiful. And there are many songs about Eärendil and his various adventures in Vingalot as he sailed around the world, one of which is when he flew south and killed Ungoliant.
Yeah, what a tale that's not told.
Yeah, no kidding. There's 2 different versions to Ungoliant dying. One is she consumes herself, and then the other one is this, when Eärendil goes down and slays her, which I kind of like that more.
I like that better. The other one's silly, I think.
It's tough. I like them both, honestly.
The other one is like wonderfully morbid.
Yeah.
But this is kind of epic because it also adds the detail that because Ungoliant was slayed, then light came to many regions of the world that had long been hidden, which was it's kind of beautiful.
So he had new real estate opportunities. Is that why?
Sure.
He's just like, yo, I found all this land that nobody's claimed here.
It's like somebody turned on the lights and there they are.
Gonna make billions homesteading this.
I don't know. I like Ungoliant eating herself because it's kind of like you reap what you sow.
You like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
poetic.
like even evil,
Yeah.
is subject to that. So
I like that. Yeah. Originally, Eärendil was unable to find Valinor.
That's right. Yeah,
Like most would struggle
despite his tries.
Yeah, but despite being beaten, feeling beaten, and missing his family, he turned east to go home.
But in his dreams, he began to get some bad feelings, as if something terrible was happening on back home. And wouldn't you know it, back in Middle-earth at this time...
Meanwhile,
back in Middle-earth at this time, word had reached the remaining sons of Feanor that Elwing possessed a Silmaril at the mouths of Syria. Now, right now, she had the Nauglamir, which has a Silmaril in it.
That's never good.
Yeah, she inherited that from King Thingol after the whole Baron and Luthien thing. So the 4 brothers, Maedhros, Maglor, Damrod and Diriel, a.k.a. Amrod and Amros in the later versions.
Mm-hmm.
They come together and they send messages to Elwing demanding the Silmaril be handed over, but Elwing would not give up the Silmaril because of its deep history with the elves.
I love how they always do that. Just like they send him an angry letter first.
Right, they're like,
Just
we're warning you.
Assuming that the most coveted jewel of all time would just somehow be relinquished after asking politely.
I mean, I guess if they're going to go so far as killing people, they have sort of a... I don't know. I feel
We'd
like it's a
rather not
courtesy
do
to
this,
at least
yeah.
ask first.
Yeah,
like
violence is the last option.
let you know.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, the history of this Silmaril, the Nauglamir, Baron and Luthien, they won it from Morgoth, taking it from his crown.
Yeah.
Dior was killed for it, and its blissful power seemed to be the only thing left bringing any joy to the refugees of Syria. And so, you really would want to hold on to that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, so...
Especially not to these assholes.
So Baron Luthien is Elwing's grandparents, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is clearly hers. Sorry, Sons of Feanor. I think your claim is not quite
Valid anymore.
valid
Leave the
anymore.
past in the past, guys.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Well, thus comes, as we know, the third and most cruel of the kinslayings, and this is when the sons of Feanor attack the refugees at the mouths of Sirion, and many were killed, and some even without a fight. And we've got...
God damn.
Yeah, we've got an excerpt here about this tragedy from The Shaping of Middle-earth, Section 3, The Quenta, read by Trevor.
And so came in the end to pass the last and cruelest of the slayings of elf by elf. And that was the third of the great wrongs achieved by the accursed oath. For the sons of Feanor came down upon the exiles of Gondolin and the remnant of Doriath and destroyed them. Though some of their folks stood aside, and some few rebelled and were slain upon the other part aiding Elwing against their own lords, for such was the sorrow and confusion of the hearts of Elfiness in those days. Yet Maedhros and Maglor won the day. Alone they now remained of the sons of Feanor, for in that battle Damrod and Diriel were slain, but the folk of Sirion perished or fled away, or departed of need to join the people of Maedhros, who claimed now the lordship of all the elves of the Hitherlands. Ah, man. I can't believe, we want that jewel. We're going to go attack refugees to get it.
Right.
You guys just got screwed out of Gondolin
By their enemy.
by their enemy.
Yeah, these should be friends here.
Right. I mean, it just shows how fucked up this all was, because some of the people following the Sons of Feanor even turned on them in the heat of battle and was like, no, we're going to defend Elwing. This is clearly fucked up.
Yeah.
These are a bunch of refugees.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you're ordered to do a war crime.
Right.
and
Slaying
you can-
innocent women and children and people who have no home.
Yeah, and you're ordered to do that. Weird.
Because of all the shit that your leader stirred up with fucking Melkor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It'd be weird if that happened today, right? That'd be weird. That kind of stuff doesn't happen
No, that
today,
doesn't happen
though.
anymore. That'd be
Right.
that'd be silly.
I mean, elves did this. Surely people can't
Surely
do that,
people
right?
wouldn't do such a thing.
Yeah, this is a silly fairy tale. This shit doesn't happen in real life. Anyway, so the refugees were ultimately destroyed, and Elwing's two sons, Elrond and Elros, were taken captive.
However, being tired of his terrible oath, Maedhros took pity on the young brothers and he took care of them, which I'm sure has some kind of Stockholm syndrome written all over it.
Right.
In fact, over time, a level of love and respect grew between the young brothers and Maedhros.
That sounds like Stockholm syndrome.
Even more.
Even more. Elwing, seeing the destruction of her people and the loss of her sons, she cast herself in the sea. She's done, right?
Yeah, everyone believed she was dead after that.
Yeah.
Damn. Hold on, that's the second person to cast themselves into a sea. Within all these tales, really. I know this isn't part of the three great tales, but Turin's sister, right?
Oh, that's
I suppose
into
it was,
a
I
river.
suppose it was a river. It was a body of water.
But it
Close
is
enough,
a
yeah.
river that probably would have taken her body down to the sea.
She asked it to at one point in one of the versions.
You're
Remember,
right.
she says, "Bear me hence to the sea" or something.
So I'll give that one to you. You're
I'll
right.
give it to you.
I'll give it to you.
Technical points.
I'll take
it.
So everyone, they believe she died. And Ulmo changed her into a great white seabird, still wearing the Nauglamir on her chest, which is a pretty cool thing to think about.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
sick.
Yeah, it's a pretty beautiful image.
And, she flew off to seek Arundel in the sky.
Why not? She finally found him, and she faints from exhaustion on the deck of Vingalad. Just, and by morning, she had transformed back into the form of his beautiful Arendel's beautiful wife, Elwing.
Oh man, you think she just thought she was on some crazy like acid trip?
Yeah,
She just
like,
turns
"Whoa.
into a bird and
How did I get here? I swear I was a bird.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you were a bird.
Yeah. DMT is crazy. Yeah.
So being distraught over the news of the loss of their sons and just the destruction of the havens at the mouths of Syria, and that was like their last home, they both chose to turn west again and try once more to find Valinor. And this time, Eärendil was frequently at the bow of the ship wearing the Silmaril on his forehead, and its light not only cut through the fog, but it also would grow brighter as they came closer to Valinor. So naturally, this helped them escape the magic isles and get through the fog and pass through the shadowy seas, and they finally arrived in the Bay of Fairy at Valinor, on the shores of Valinor.
So I thought it was kind of funny. What if him wearing it on? So people so he always wears it on his brow, right?
Right.
Don't you think that would make you cross-eyed because you'd be like looking at the light all the time? Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh, because you always trying to look up at it to see
Yeah.
if it's getting...
Or just, I don't know, because it's like right in the middle. I feel like you would be just instinctively staring at it all the time, and it would make you cross-eyed, right? Like, that'd be so funny if Eärendil was just cross-eyed.
He had to wear glasses.
So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Because many people have tried to go to Valinor, but
A whole bunch of them, yeah.
But had any of them tried to go with a Silmaril
No.
before this?
No.
That's kind of the key, honestly.
That's what I'm thinking. It's
Yeah.
it's the key to get to Valinor is the Silmaril.
Yeah, Ulmo had been having Turgon send elven messengers down the river to the sea, but he never thought about having them stop on the shores and ask Elwing about borrowing that Nauglamir or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's what it would. You're right.
Foolish of them, really.
Well, okay, so they set anchor out in the Bay of Fairy because neither Elwing nor the crew were willing to set foot on the shores of Valinor, because they were scared about getting wrath from the gods.
Mortals are not allowed explicitly in Valinor.
Right. So Eärendil, he shoulders the responsibility alone. He's like, hey, this is my idea to come here. Like, this is I'm the captain I'm the captain now of this here ship. So he goes alone. He happened to arrive during a time of festival. So most of the elves had gone to Manway's halls on the peak of Taniquetil. And he shows up at what is it, Tyrion, right? Is it? And it's totally deserted and it's crazy. And he walks through the streets and gets all covered in diamond dust. But he enters the hill of Tuna, right, which is the hill that Tyrion is on, and there's nobody there, completely empty.
Yeah, and the reason for this is because it was the festival, the same festival, in fact, that took place when Morgoth and Ungoliant had attacked the two trees long ago.
The very same.
The very same.
And what was the cause of all the dust in the air?
Diamonds.
It was,
The diamonds. Like,
Literally, there's just diamonds everywhere,
The city is hewn of diamonds. Like, the masonry is made
and
of
apparently
diamonds.
the kids in the streets would just play with diamonds like they're little toys and things.
Yeah.
So there's just, you just walk through the streets, you get diamond dust on your clothes.
man, that
it's-
can't be good for your lungs.
I was just
you
thinking
know what?
that. Yeah.
They would definitely need a lot of N95s.
Yeah. It's
that-
like coal mining gives you the black lung. What is this, the white lung?
Well, isn't it also
Prismatic lung.
The white lung pop.
people
yeah.
who cut and shape, what is it, like marble or something? Like they also, like you can...
Do they have a respiratory disease?
Yeah,
too?
people who cut like heavy stone and things, you can't breathe that stuff in. It
Oh, yeah, I
really
imagine it's not
fucks
good
with
for
your
you.
lungs. Diamonds, I imagine, would be about the worst possible thing.
It's
Diamond
slicing you the fuck up on a microscopic level there.
Oh man! But could you
Yeah.
imagine taking a shit after breathing all that in?
Like shit and sandpaper.
I was thinking more like you'd have shiny poo, but sure.
Oh, I guess that'd be kind of cool looking, right?
That'd be cool. Then what if they, because the capitalists are so evil. I imagine if you worked at like a diamond mine, they would consider that your Christmas bonus.
Oh
your
my God.
shit, your
Yeah, like
diamond
your-
encrusted shit is
or-
your bonus.
Yeah, that's
They'd
your
call
Christmas bonus.
Or they'd call it company property.
Yeah, and have you
You're not
give it
allowed
back,
to
yeah.
leave.
Those aren't your diamonds. Oh man. Well, since everyone everywhere seemed to be abandoned and no one answered his calls, he's literally yelling out like, "You-hoo!
Hello.
Hello!
Is anyone there?
Yeah." Eventually, he just kind of turned around and headed back to the ship, or started to.
Man, as Eärendil arrived back at the shore, someone finally came and called out to him from the top of a hill.
Yeah, and of course it was Eonwë, who is the Herald of Manwë, right? We know this dude. And we got a little excerpt from the Shaping of Middle-earth here, and Joel's going to do it. Here we go.
Hail, Eärendil, star most radiant, messenger most fair. Hail, thou bearer of light before the sun and moon, the looked-for that comest unawares, the longed-for that comest beyond hope. Hail, thou splendor of the children of the world, thou slayer of the dark, star of the sunset, hail! Hail, herald of the morn!
He's hailing that dude an awful lot.
Yeah, and he's I feel like he knows a lot more than you'd expect.
He's
him
being
to.
really dramatic. He knows exactly who this guy is and how significant it is that this guy's here.
Yeah, what if he knew? He's like, you know the laws. Stab him. Yeah, he's like,
Your kind not welcome here.
You're not allowed
Star
here.
of high hope, he who knoweth the laws here.
Yeah.
Shing.
Yeah. Oh man.
So Eonwë, he summoned Eärendil before the Valar.
Right, as you smart thing to do. Right.
The whole reason he's there, I guess. And there, Eärendil asked for pardon for the Noldor and pity for the other elves and men. The Valar agreed, pretty easily, I guess, and prepared for battle with Morgoth.
Finally.
Finally.
Fucking finally.
It only took somebody going over there.
Well, we learned earlier in the story, remember, they had already prepared to...
Yeah, they're like, yeah, if somebody does the impossible, and now somebody's actually there, and they're like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I said I would.
They're just like a passive-aggressive partner. They're just like, I just wanted you to ask. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted you to ask. That's all I wanted.
So the Valar then take Eärendil's ship, Vingalot. They hallowed it, so made it holy, basically, and they brought it beyond the edge of the world where it took to the skies and began to fly.
Yeah, they made it a flying ship.
Yeah, dude.
And Eärendil, with the Silmaril still on his brow, he now became a new star in the West, which is pretty dope. But I want to know what the heck happened to the crew on board of that ship.
Yeah,
and Elwing, right?
You did bring this up when we were reviewing, like what happened to the crew, because you pointed out that they explicitly said they weren't getting off the ship.
Right. They won't get off the ship, and then it goes straight from that to the ship being taken by the Valar, basically.
So they very well may still
home?
be on the ship with him, manning it.
I imagine the ship just sinks and then comes out of the water somewhere else, so they all are stuck in the ocean. And then it flies off
so
without
you think
him.
They just dropped him off in the water.
Well, that's a good point, because Eärendil needs to crew the ship, right?
I don't know. I mean, they hallowed it so it flies, but I feel like it still needs to be manned in a pretty similar fashion. I mean, now you got to pay attention to 3 dimensions when you're
instead of 2.
I mean, I guess I would be okay with, at least in my headcanon, thinking that he went up there with his crew. Obviously not with
crew
Elwing.
Of forever bros, dude.
Yeah, that'd be
the
cool.
forever friends, just flying through the sky.
Flying through the sky, forever friends. Yeah, dude, that'd be a fucking cool TV show. I mean, I would watch that.
Taking down the thralls of Morgoth.
Well, unfortunately for this, bro time in the sky meant no Elwing time.
Yeah.
And Elwing never actually saw Eärendil ever again in this version. In the final Silmarillion, I think Christopher modifies it that
she's allowed to visit.
She's allowed to fly to him every once in a while. But here in this version that Tolkien wrote directly, Elwing never sees him again. And mourning his loss, she builds a white tower in the northern regions of the Sundering Seas, kind of near Valinor. And this tower became a haven for all seabirds. And there Elwing devised wings for herself to fly off and seek Eärendil's ship. But she still never finds him. She just flies through the air, searching the world for Eärendil.
It sucks.
I kind of like that revision you guys just talked about, where she does get to go visit every now and then.
It's more or less the same thing, but she actually finds him and gets to visit him periodically as a bird.
It's kind of like Eärendil's on parole, and she can only see him during visiting hours.
Fucking conjugal visit. Yeah.
Eärendil's orbits crossing over here this month. Are you ready for your monthly visiting time?
You get 15 minutes. Yeah.
No funny business.
You got to stay as a bird.
Yeah.
Remember, the forever friend bros will be watching you.
Oh, gross.
So the elves of Valinor, they march to battle led by Eonwë. And most of the Teleri, they wouldn't join. They remember the kinslaying at Swanhaven. They're like, we're not going to do that again.
Yeah, remember. Never forget.
Yeah, we lost enough people to this shit right off the bat. We're not helping you guys do anything.
No way.
But, a few Teleri did join, and those that did would only help by manning the ships.
Yeah, they would help.
They were the sailors of the elves.
Yeah, they would help ferry troops across, but they would not fight.
They would touch no other land than Valinor.
Right.
Yeah. So seeing the rising of the new star, Morgoth was in doubt, which is a pretty significant thing to do to Morgoth.
Make him doubtful.
And, he did not expect the massive assault that followed. He believed he permanently estranged the elves in the Valar, but guess what, buddy?
Yeah, when Eonwë arrived, he brought not only the elves of Valinor, but he also recruited all of the elves and men in Hithlum.
Oh, shit.
In the meeting of the hosts of the West and the North, that would be the hosts of the Valar versus the hosts of Melkor, was said to have been terrible. The battle became known by several different names. The Great Battle.
Woo.
The Battle Terrible.
And, the Battle of Wrath and Thunder.
I love that one.
Hell
that
yeah.
Cool. Wrath and Thunder. Yeah, Morgoth used all of his strength of arms, but he still could not win, of course. And all of the Balrogs and most of the orcs were destroyed. Good riddance, that's what I say. Many of the evil men that had once served Morgoth repented, and they aided in the host of the West and the rebuilding of civilization.
Redemption arc!
Yeah, they're like, we can finally get rid of this evil overlord we've been dealing with.
Yeah, damn.
Heck, man, even more men came over the mountains from the east to help.
They're like, we're coming to join.
They heard about it, and they're like, wait for us! But, then Morgoth, he released his final weapon, the big one. Not the bomb. The winged dragons.
The winged dragons.
The H-bomb?
No, this is the D-bomb.
D-bomb.
Da-bomb. Anyway,
Da-bomb.
So we got an excerpt about this very moment from the Shaping of Middle-earth Section 3, the Quenta, like before, and Danny's going to hand it to us.
But Morgoth quailed, and he came not forth. And he loosed his last assault, and that was the winged dragons. For as yet had none of these creatures of his cruel thought assailed the air. So sudden and so swift and so ruinous was the onset of that fleet, as a tempest of 100 thunders winged with steel, that Fionwë was driven back. But Eärendil slew in Callaghan the Black, the mightiest of all the dragon horde, and cast him from the sky, and in his fall the towers of Thangorodrim were thrown down. Then the sun rose on the second day, and the sons of the Valar prevailed, and all the dragons were destroyed, save 2 alone, and they fled into the east.
It's so crazy. This is the first time the winged dragons come out.
And they killed almost all of them.
And they killed almost all of them.
Could you imagine?
Including in Callaghan the Black.
Could you imagine if he just watched them just extinct his fucking dragons?
Right,
he's
all at once.
Here's my secret weapon. Shit.
And they go extinct.
And there they go.
Even my giant one.
Yeah, even the big one.
Yeah, I love the idea of Eärendil, this tiny ass little ship, somehow slaying this this colossal sized. Oh yeah,
we have a theory here.
We talked about.
We have a theory.
What's the theory?
You don't remember the theory? So the theory is that he's waiting for it. He doesn't remember. So the theory is that Vingalot, right, with Eärendil at the helm, at the bow of the ship, right, sword up, I'm imagining.
With the light of the Silmaril shining off.
Yeah, with the light of the Silmaril. He would need, for what he's about to do, he's going to need that light.
So what he does dark place
is he flies into the open maw of the dragon, right, and just keeps going, right, with sword out, and he flies straight through the dragon out its cloaca, which is what reptiles and birds poop and pee out of.
Yes.
Not his asshole, because he doesn't have one.
He doesn't have an asshole.
Cloaca.
We had to revise this because we said it flew out his asshole, and then some asshole pointed out that they don't have assholes. So,
we had to say cloaca.
Cloaca. So that's what he does, yeah. Through the throat, straight down, out the cloaca, blah, out the other end, covered in poo-poo and blood, I'm sure.
And guts and
visceral. But dragons are like hot, as we learn in the Fall of Gondolin. Mm-hmm. So
I guess.
Man, that must have been hell going through him.
That's true. I mean, his ship is magic now, and he's got the Silmaril. Maybe the Silmaril gave him some kind of a magic
heat shield.
buffer heat
Yeah,
shield.
some kind of magic heat
I don't know.
I kind of imagine that the Silmaril would like give him a magic like battering ram shield thing.
Yeah.
And so he just like anime style shoots through him like
Ooh, like So are you talking like the drill on the front of the ship in the movie The Core with Aaron Eckhart?
No, I guess we could go with that though. I was thinking like some ships are outfitted with like an icebreaker on the front of it to like bust up ice, except this would be a dragon breaker.
Oh, yeah, that
and
makes
it would
more
just
sense.
impale
Just
through
like-
him.
Yeah,
That makes
that's
more
kind of
sense.
cool. That's kind of cool. Let's kind of just
That makes
hit
more
light speed and just tear through.
Yeah, and then the dragon just falls.
That makes more sense than the movie The Core.
Sure, yeah, a lot of things do.
You know what's really funny? Do you remember we were joking about that movie about a couple of years ago? This is like I think during the plague, and we were like, "Oh, we should watch that movie." And we looked it up. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes long almost.
They got that much runtime.
And I
out
was
of
like,
it?
Jesus Christ, I'm not watching.
Yeah,
I'm not
we're like, there's no
I'm not
way.
gonna like goof watch a fucking 2 hour and 40 minute long movie. No way.
There's
That's
nothing.
crazy.
There's no redemption for that movie.
no.
None at all.
You know what's funny? The Core has such a similar storyline to a different movie that I absolutely love,
Is it
What's
Sunshine?
which is Sunshine,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
it's-
basically
yeah.
the same concept.
Go
but
watch Sunshine. It's better.
rather than going down, restarting the Earth's core with some bombs, they go out into space to restart the sun with some bombs.
yeah.
And it's such a cool
Somehow
story.
makes more
So
sense.
much better.
Neither truly makes any sense at
No.
all, and definitely restarting the sun is even
Yeah.
more fantastical. But it's way freaking cooler.
Way freaking cooler. And honestly, the South Park episode "Die Hippie Die" obliterated The Core. It just destroyed that fucking movie. There's no coming back from that.
All right, so at Caligan Down, two dragons fled because they're like, "Fuck that, not happening to me."
The two smartest of the
Yeah,
dragons,
the two.
apparently.
Which would we have to assume one of them is Smog?
We were talking about this earlier. We think they're probably the ancestors of Smog.
Okay. So
because it'd be
maybe
thousands
those were
and thousands
those
of
two
years.
dragons were lovers, and
Yeah, that's why.
And
I bet.
they
They
left
were
and
like,
they-
let's.
They're basically the Adam and Eve.
we
Yeah.
can't be
of
the
new
last
generation
ones.
of dragons.
Maybe they just never wanted war. They just wanted to love each other, you know?
Oh, that's yeah. So, all right, Arendelle, he came with a host of birds too, and they also fucked some shit up.
Yes. The birds of the air got involved.
Which, you got a big ship, you got birds in the air, you got troops on the ground, you got ships in the sea. Like, these guys were stacked.
They were stacked.
Mm-hmm.
So when the sun rose on the second day, the host of the West had won.
2 days.
Yeah.
No, not even 2 days.
2 days after the introduction of the winged dragons.
Right. Because this is really 42 years of conflict, culminating with this here conflict that we're talking about.
Right, this one battle?
I suppose you'd call it. Well, the thing is, it was a 42-year-long conflict, so it's just a bunch of series of battles, I'm assuming, for, 42 years straight. At this point, Morgoth had fled into the deepest recesses of his of his fortress, the deepest mines, and he begged for peace.
Ha! What a joke.
Yeah, but they weren't having that, so they busted right down there into his little mine, and they hewed out his feet from underneath him. So I suppose so he couldn't run away. And then they, my favorite part, this is so humiliating. They beat the iron crown down around his neck like a collar of a misbehaved dog.
See, and I wonder, did they put it spiky sign down? Or,
I hope so.
Or up? Because, like, up, he's not going to be able to move his head up and down, right? Like, he's going to
Uncomfortable.
stab his jaw.
Either way, it's going to be not
gonna
fun.
suck, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to suck either way. And they also chain him up with Engainor, which is, the chain that Aule made to subdue him in the first place, the first time they had to do this.
So they know it works already?
They know it works. The two remaining silver rolls were given to Eonwë for safekeeping, right? He's a trusted guy.
And then all the slaves of Angband were released. But when they emerged from Angband, they didn't recognize the landscape because how much it had changed in battle. Like you said, 42-year conflict, the earth isn't going to look the same after.
Conflict
Yeah.
between gods and
Gods.
shit. Yeah.
Gods and dragons and all, yeah.
I mean, Beleriand, the green country of Beleriand, nestled up against the sea, had been completely destroyed, and the sea rushed in and covered it. So the whole place just looked wildly different.
Yeah.
Well, and if I'm right, Angband is like in northern Beleriand,
No, just
Right.
north of Beleriand, yep.
right? Okay,
It
just
too
north of Beleriand.
eventually ends up under the waves.
Yep. Then Eonwë, he marched across the land, summoning all remaining elves to him to come back to Valinor. Why not? Let's go home, guys. Like,
This is where you're meant to be.
yeah, you guys come on back.
Yeah, we finally did it. It's get some respite.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the Noldor were now forgiven and welcomed to come back to Valinor. That
And that's
says a
old
lot.
beef. They're willing to like forgive and forget at this point. They're like, hey, Noldor, you know how you've been fugitives for the past 1,000 years almost, right? Like you've been it's totally not allowed to come back. But yeah,
You know what?
bygones be bygones.
You know what? Let's all put that behind us.
Yeah, water under the bridge.
But because Eonwë now possessed 2 of the Silmarils, the 2 remaining sons of Feanor, Maedhros and Maglor, would not join them.
Of course.
Instead, they reluctantly prepared to perform their obligation to their oath.
Ugh, I hate these guys.
No, it just seems so tiresome at this point.
Yeah, just like it's almost like the tenaciousness that like an addict has. Like, you know, you like look up to them in a way. It's like, I wish I had that kind of tenacity, you know, to do something so shitty for so many times, you know?
I hate to make this comparison, but I mean, you tell me if it's justified or not. Feanor is basically Hitler here, right? And then he's given this command that all of his sons have to follow, you know, the oath to do this dirty work, even if they don't want to.
And his sons are like the neo-Nazis?
Yeah, and they're just like, all right, yeah, we'll do it. We don't really want to, but we're gonna.
I guess.
I don't know if I'd go so far as to compare Feanor to Hitler. His sons to neo-Nazis might be a little nearer, but I still don't know if I'd go quite that far. Oh, they do slaughter a lot of fucking innocent people.
They sure do. They sure do get up to a bunch of evil shit, that's for sure.
We're getting a little off track now, though. Well, so we have a excerpt here about this scene here, them getting ready to fulfill their oath, and this is from The Shaping of Middle-earth, Section 3, The Quenta, read by Trevor.
But Maedhros would not hearken, and he prepared, though with weary loathing and despair, to perform even yet the obligation of his oath. For Maedhros and Maglor would have given battle for the Silmarils, were they withheld, even against the victorious host of the Valinor, and though they stood alone in all the world. And they sent unto Fionwe, and bade him yield now up those jewels which of old Morgoth stole from Feanor. But Fionwe said that the right to the work of their hands, which Feanor and his sons had formerly possessed, had now perished, because of their many and evil deeds blinded by their oath, and most of all, the slaying of Dior and the assault upon Elwing. The light of the Silmarils should go now to the gods whence it came, and to Valinor must Maedhros and Maglor return, and there abide the judgment of the gods, by whose decree alone would Fionwe yield the jewels from his charge. I mean, at that point, what really can you do?
You can't help people like this. You know what I mean?
No. And, I mean, Maglor at this point, he had somewhat of a mind to submit, because he was just, at this point, so worn out and sad. All of their other brothers are dead, just trying to fulfill this oath.
He's lost his whole family, basically.
Yeah.
And he pointed out that the oath doesn't say that they can't bide their time.
Freaking took him long enough to say that. Jeez.
Can we just wait a little while?
Do we have to kill them right now?
Yeah.
But Maedhros said that if they went back to Valinor, and the gods decided not to hand over the Silmarils, then they would still be required to uphold their oath, but with much worse odds.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that does make some sense. I mean, that's just like one of those, like, that's technically, oh my God, that's so stupid. I mean, if you're going to go up against the host of good, do you want to do it in Valinor, or do you want to do it over here where they're far away from the gods? I mean, basically he's saying if they're going to uphold their oath, then right now is the best chance that they're going to get to take them back by force.
Yeah, this one wouldn't.
Because there's no way in hell that's going to go over in Valinor. Like,
that's a suicide mission.
Yeah.
I mean, it already kind of is.
It already, yeah.
But even more
yeah.
so, yeah.
So Maedhros and Maglor, they chose to creep into Eonwë's camp, kill the guards, steal the Silmarils, in and out. Easy peasy. And they would have been killed, but Eonwë stopped the guards and they let him run off.
Yeah, it was kind of a butchered attempt. They did get the Silmarils and they did run off, but
they probably just felt sorry for
the only way they the only way
like,
they got away is the only reason they got away is because Eonwë stopped the guards from basically killing them.
Yeah.
So hold on, couldn't they have just been like, all right, you guys come over here. We'll each give you a Silmaril, and then you come over with us, right? You've fulfilled your oath. You've gotten them. Then you give them back.
Yeah, it's true. It never says that they had to keep the Silmarils, does it? It does, actually. I think it does say that.
So now, the brothers, they actually did it. They made it away with the Silmarils, and each brother takes one of the Silmarils, saying that the 2 remaining Silmarils were clearly meant for each of the 2 remaining brothers.
Oh, yeah, this works out pretty good.
There's 2 left. There's 2 of us. But, these Silmarils, they didn't act like they thought they would. They burned their hands.
Burn the shit out of their hands.
Didn't see that coming.
Which we know why. Because evil can't touch a Silmaril.
Yeah, you've done evil shit to obtain the Silmarils. You're disqualified from touching them.
Hence why, Melkor wore them on a crown and not on a ring around his finger or something.
Yeah, or something worse touching you. Yeah.
Yeah, so in this moment, they finally understood that what Eonwe said earlier was true, that they had forfeit their right to the Silmarils through all of their evil, evil deeds.
Yeah.
Do you think something like that, nullifies the oath?
The oath.
The fact that they can't even hold them anymore?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I'm not sure. It seems like they're still kind of held to the oath.
That's like pure
But it's just to really, really sad ends.
Yeah, it's just, I suppose. Yeah, you're still bound to it. Yeah.
But Maedhros' But Maedhros' mingled guilt and pain was just too unbearable, so he threw himself and his Silmaril into a gaping pit of fire, and he died. And the Silmaril was, quote, taken to the bosom of the earth, end quote.
Damn. Into a pit of fire?
Yeah.
I know surely, man, if you want to die, but you want to take one of the most painful
I always
ways
imagine
to do it?
that this pit must have been a result of the recent, geological
Cataclysm.
changes.
Yeah.
The recent geological cataclysm that just took place in that battle.
In this period of time, there's just fissures opening up all the time from the battle,
The Maglor, also unable to stand the pain, he threw his Silmaril into the sea.
Yeah, after it burnt the shit out of his hands.
I just imagine him accidentally doing it on the edge, just holding it and going, and it just drops it.
Yeah.
And then he spent the rest of his life wandering the shores, singing, but, in pain and regret. Which I imagine, to have heard the songs, say you're just, walking past or something, would probably just be, super sad. It's probably, very mournful sounding. And
Yes, or early Dylan. Right?
yeah, early Dylan.
Yeah.
But the elves and the hosts of Eonwe returned to Valinor in victory, ultimately, even without the Silmarils.
And at the return of the elves from Middle-earth, the Teleri forgave their ancient beef. Which is, it's nice. Everything's getting, kind of tied up. The whole Feanor's Oath and the Silmarils and all the Morgoth stuff. It's nice because it all comes to a head here. And we do have an excerpt from the Shaping of Middle-earth, Section 3, The Quenta. It's going to give us some more detail, read by Joel.
But in the west, the gnomes and dark elves rehabited for the most part the lonely isle that looks both east and west, and very fair did that land become, and so remains. But some returned even unto Valinor, as all were free to do who willed, and the gnomes were admitted again to the love of Manwë, and the pardon of the Valar, and the Teleri forgave their ancient grief, and the curse was laid to rest. Yet not all would forsake the outer lands where they had long suffered and long dwelt, and some lingered many an age in the west and the north, and especially in the western isles. And among these were Maglor, as has been told, and with him Elrond the half-elven, who after went among mortal men again, and from whom alone the blood of the firstborn and the seed divine of Valinor have come among mankind.
It's nice that some of them decided to stay in Middle-earth.
Yeah, I love how they had long suffered there. Isn't that
They had a lot of history. They really established themselves, and they fought to hold their homes for many years.
Yeah, think of how many of them died defending that land. It's
they
crazy.
They didn't want to lose because they didn't want to end up leaving. So now that they won, why would they leave?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Why not stay and at least enjoy your victory? It's such a sad.
It's now you guys won. You defended your homes. Time to leave. Let's all move to. It's kind of like heaven on earth. It is pretty great, but making you uproot and leave your home is a
never
hard
fun.
decision.
Yeah, never. Fun.
Not everybody wants to do that.
No.
So the Valar judged that the world would now be for mankind, with the exodus of all these elves, and eventually all elves that remained, they would fade and fail. and many eventually did, they choose to sail to Valinor.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would guess that maybe this line in particular, maybe close to, is where Rop got its whole "the elves are diminishing" storyline from.
Yeah, I mean they do touch on that a little bit in the PJ trilogy as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's generally the what we talk about, like the general just movement of like, we talked about how like there's a ton of magic in the beginning of the first age and stuff, and it just kind of becomes more
For men.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. That fading is the exact kind of fading that they're trying to
with
trying to use in the Rings of Power.
The tree,
with the tree,
the fucking tree,
and the Silmarils, and in the giving power to the Mithril,
the tree that's addicted to Mithril, right? I need my
Mithril,
Mithril,
or something.
I need my Mithril, man.
Need my tree thrill.
My tree
thrill.
Sorry, I had to.
Well, Morgoth's dragons and orcs will still breed again from time to time, but in the end, they will all be wiped out by the valor of mortal man.
Yeah, so it's more of a population control issue at this point than actual like armed resistance.
This is almost prophecy, isn't it?
Yeah. See, this is
kind of Doom in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is basically kind of explaining the transition into our current Earth world.
Right.
Reality.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the Valar also thrust Melkor through the door of timeless night out into the very void itself.
Such a cool sounding thing.
Yes, and that door is always guarded by who else than Eärendil and his indentured homies, apparently.
His ship of jolly bros.
Yeah, that seemingly had no choice but to do this.
Oh my God, is Eärendil like the Davy Jones of this story? He's got his crew of the damned, but
he sort of is, yeah, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Davy Jones from myth, or Davy Jones from the Monkees?
I mean, I was thinking like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, that Davy
but
Jones.
Sure.
I was thinking...
We're talking ships and cruises.
Yeah, I was thinking...
Davy Jones from the Monkees.
Yeah.
Davy Jones from the Monkees.
Cheer up, Sleepy Jean. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking.
Sleepy Jean.
They're not a real band, right? They're just like for the show.
Didn't they hate each other?
I don't know, but they're not a real band, I don't think.
Random lore. So back to the Tolkien lore, right?
So we got Eärendil patrolling the skies and keeping a watch on that door out to the void. But it's said that yet at times the lies that Morgoth sowed still work evil in later days. And some say that even Morgoth himself comes back at times as a dark shadow to plague the world.
Yeah, that residue of evil, right?
Sure, I suppose. Like, I guess you could think of it like, I mean, Sauron put all this power into a ring, right?
It's true.
So what keeps Morgoth from putting power in words?
And speaking of, some also say that this black shadow of Morgoth isn't actually Morgoth, but rather his most powerful servant, Sauron, who still lives in dark places.
Oh, shit. Like he could have given his power, like he knew he was done for, so he gave his power to Sauron.
Sauron continues the evil work.
Well, I think,
in his absence.
Yeah, more just like he continues his work, yeah.
Sure, I just like the little extra step there.
Oh, yeah.
Make Morgoth a little more still prevalent.
So, in the end, Mandos prophesizes that when the world is old and the Valar grow weary, Morgoth will break back through the doors of timeless night and will destroy the sun and the moon.
Causing the earth to fly off into space.
Yeah, fly off into space. But then Eärendil will come in Vingalot and drive Morgoth out of the air and onto the ground, specifically onto the fields of Valinor, where the last battle will take place.
And Trulkas will fight Morgoth with the help of Eonwe and Turin Turambar.
Yeah, we already kind of mentioned that earlier when Turin comes back. And
Eonwe, too. Eonwe's the weapons expert.
That's right.
Yeah.
Turin will even deal the killing blow to Morgoth using his black sword, which broke when he died, right? So, like,
it'll be remade, I guess.
It gets remade.
Or rather, reincarnated.
Ooh.
And thus, the children of Hurin and all men will be avenged by the hand of Turin Turambar.
Only appropriate. He deserves it, honestly.
Of all fucking characters that deserve to come back for some revenge, it's definitely Turin. Yeah.
And after the final battle, all 3 of the Silmarils will finally be recovered from the 3 different places: the sky, the earth, and the sea, and the world will be restored.
Oh, snap.
So we'll end the telling of the tale of Earendil through this final excerpt, again from The Shaping of Middle-earth, the Quenta, read by Danny.
Thereafter shall the Silmarils be recovered out of the sea, and the earth, and the air. For Earendil shall descend and yield up that flame that he hath had in keeping. Then Fëanor shall bear the 3, and yield them unto Yavanna Pelurian, and she will break them, and with their fire rekindle the 2 trees. And a great light shall come forth, and the mountains of Valinor shall be leveled, so that that light goes out over all the world. In that light the gods will again grow young, and the elves awake, and all their dead arise, and the purpose of Iluvatar be fulfilled concerning them. Such is the end of the tales of the days before the days in the northern regions of the western world.
And that is actually the last line of the Quenta, Noldorinwa.
Dang, so that's like the last Tolkien had to say.
Yeah, so that
it.
last sentence is like the end cap on the entire Quenta history, such as the end of the tales of the days before the days in the northern regions of the western world.
Dang.
Because Fëanor is the one that bears the 3 Silmarils and hands them over. Is that like redemption?
It's redemption
Yeah,
because
I think
he
so.
originally said no.
Right.
Yeah, so like it's him Fëanor's soul would
redeeming
redeem itself,
himself,
yeah.
recognizing the importance
of
that they
him.
hold.
Well, also I fucked up the first time. Like, yeah, here you go. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen what oaths can do.
Yeah, after all this bullshit, like, here you go. I think that would be a very easy thing for him to do at that point. Yeah.
I like that.
At this
I like
point,
that a
they've
lot.
kind of saved the world from what Fëanor had kind of started.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it is kind of like a thank you and repentance for picking up my
Yeah.
pieces and saving my ass.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if he just like got him and didn't give him back?
He'd be like, no, no.
I finally got all 3. Fuck you.
No.
Mine.
Start it all over.
Yeah, just like, well, that's all, guys. We made it. Holy shit.
We did it. Can you believe it?
All 3 tales.
All 3 tales, all 16
16 episodes.
16 episodes.
Wow.
Or 15. It was 15 plus the holiday special. So
Oh,
15
right.
episodes
Right.
in the series.
That's
So
funny.
it was, oh my good. I mean, we thought it was going to be 6.
Yeah, we thought originally this would be 6 episodes. And yeah, thanks for not giving up on us, because I would be a little frustrated, if it was... well, not really. You can't be frustrated if you like this show, because you're just getting more content, right? Like,
It's
yeah.
just everything you'd asked for and more, we hope.
Yeah. We hope we came through for you on our 100th episode celebration. But here's the thing. We're going to be actually reflecting on that a bunch more next week.
Yeah, special bonus episode.
Yeah, we have like a kind of capstone, a retrospective type episode we're going to do, because this was so fucking hard to do. We just thought maybe we want to sit back and chat a little bit about the undertaking that was the 100th episode celebration.
Yeah, we've now more or less completed our series, so we thought we'd reflect on that series.
Yeah, well, we'll have a friend of the show, Joe Vasky, here with us, too. If you're a Joseph fan, he'll be coming by just to have some fun with us about our whole, 15 episodes. That's insane, you guys.
It is insane.
What did we say in our intro skit for the 100 episodes?
We
That
said
it would be 15, yeah.
That it would,
Yeah.
and
that was
then we
a-
did it.
That was a joke mocking...
We accidentally
thought.
foreshadowed ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah,
We made
were
fun
like,
of
We were
ourselves.
trying to think of some hilarious number that would be way too many
Yeah,
to do a series.
15.
Well, yeah, 15, something stupid
Well,
like
because
that.
we thought, like you said, we thought 6, so 15 is like way more than 6, right?
Little did we know.
Like,
Oh,
well, yeah.
God. Oh, little did we
Yeah.
know. Yeah, we just doomed ourselves. We jinxed ourselves with that one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll reflect more on all this next week in episode 117, The Great Tales Retrospective.
Yeah. But that is all we have for you guys today. Thank you for listening to KOT Podcast. Please subscribe to us wherever you've been getting your podcasts. Stay up to date on new episodes, and rate and review us on your whatever your particular app is. That would be super fucking cool of you. Thank you so much. That helps boost us in the algo, and honestly makes us 3 feel really good about ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, buddy.
Check out our website, which is simply keepontolkien.com. This is a hub for all things KOT. You can't imagine ever needing anything else after you go to this website. As far as KOT goes, it'll take you everywhere in the extended KOT universe.
And a big thank you, as always, to our patrons on Patreon. Subscribing on Patreon not only supports us, but also gives you access to some Patreon-exclusive content. If you're interested, you can go to patreon.com/KOT podcast. You can also find that on our website if you just want to click on links. We also accept private one-time donations if the Patreon subscription service is not quite your speed. That's okay. We accept and are thankful for anything you are willing to offer. Thank you so much.
Also, don't forget, we have a Discord. We've talked about it a couple of times while we've been talking.
Oh,
we
yeah.
always talk about it. We're always in there. But, we'll have a link in the description. Definitely go check us out. And also, just as a fun little extra thing, if you were to go to our Patreon and subscribe, you'll even get a nice little different color for your name, showing everybody that you're helping us out.
That's true.
On the Discord.
On
yeah,
the
you do.
Discord,
You
yeah.
get your own color.
Yeah, show off.
I believe it's a bronze kind of color, like orange or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. And then we can see you directly and thank you personally if you want.
Yes.
So, but, also, if you want to find us in other places, you can find us on TikTok, we're on X, Twitter. We are also on Facebook and Instagram, but you don't have to remember all those things because, everybody has those things. So just go to our website and you'll find ways to get to all of those places. Reminder, keepontolkien.com. And, if you want to help support us in another way, you could try to pick up some merch from us. We got some pretty cool things on there.
Oh, yeah.
That website being the keep-on-tolkien-podcast@gmail.com.
Nice. You still get it.
Yeah.
Still-
you
It's not even written down anymore.
Joel even deleted it from the outline. He still does it out of defiance.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
All right. I think that's it from us, guys. I am and will continue to be for you, Danny J.
I am, for now, Joel N.
I will probably always be Trevor D.
And together, combined, we are
Keep on Tolkien.
Victoriously.
Yeah, this has got to be a victorious one. You're right. That's a good way to put it. Hooray and Tulava.
Tulava, Tulava,
Tulava, Tulava.